Hey, what is up? Kian is blocking his face. Nobody look at it. My name is Ken, and I am proudly here with my friends here today to play a game of the Wandering Isles Dungeons Dragons Adventure with you guys. Oh, that was a lot of words. And
that was a lot of words.
Can't remember how to get the socials up. I'm still new at this. This is my first day, guys. There we go. Socials are below their names. We have Mr. Deranged Rhino playing Madriana this evening. Mr. Kean Griffin playing Dash this evening. I didn't forget. Mr. Roy playing Eos. Mr. Busy Bee playing Hatsu. And Richard playing Slate. I got through it. I did it. A quick shout out to our pal Kean, who is shaven for a very good cause. Kean, do you want to just give a quick shout out to what you're up to?
Yes, I can't look at myself, so I know how the rest of you feel. I am doing this nonsense for Movember, raising funds for men's mental health. Yes, and I am apparently dancing in the YMCA. So we're nearly at 500 quid raised, and we're only 6 days in, so thank you very much to everyone that has donated. I know there's a few in the chat there. So thank you very much. Also shout out to Rhino's community and Emerald Collective for sharing the charity fundraiser, so appreciate you very much. And I hate all of this. I can't wait to have my beard back, so please make it worth my while.
Don't worry,
so do I. My face is so cold.
It is cold. I can see my chin. It's weird.
Normally we save our shout outs to the end, but we wanted to address that straight away because I expect a few questions, or at least I suspect a few questions may follow. As our resident Viking is now our resident librarian. Rory, would you like to
unfollow?
Rory, you're following, literally. Mr. Rory, you want to take it away and bring us to our recap? Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Previously on the Wandering Isles, our adventurers embarked on a quest set forth by the enigmatic Rem to seek out the fabled Moonbane elixir. But their journey took a dark twist as their trusty companion Gusto disappeared without a trace. Undeterred, they pressed on, crossing treacherous waters and unforgiving lands, eventually finding themselves in the depths of a strange and ominous cave. It was there that they encountered a band of furry creatures, fierce yet fearful, mistaking our heroes for foes. Though Wit encouraged the adventurers and their trust, only to be led deeper into the unknown. And now, another mystery looms before them. A mystery as ancient as the isle itself. The people of Stone await.
Thank you so much. That was awesome as we wander in to the Isles and the people of Stone. I apologize for my rude interruption before. I couldn't resist. At this point, you said I should use anime music, and I was like, I don't know if I have anime music, so I'll pick something kind of like action-y or something. And it was like this kind of Hogwarts thing going on, and you were like, Dragon Ball Z, let's go! That was awesome.
He knows the style that I choose. How dare.
For no reason at all, we will start this game by saying you all have inspiration. Don't worry about that at all. So we
I feel so inspired.
You feel really inspired. So we find ourselves back in the...
People of Stone have me rock hard. Sorry.
We find ourselves back in... Oh my God.
The stream was lovely to have. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, thanks. We've been banned on all platforms. We find ourselves back in the cave. You are sort of at this T-junction. One side boarded up, but that's where the airflow is coming from. And the other side with lines of petrified people. My sweet, sweet party. What would you like to do?
Eos is going to go up to one of the people and just tap on their elbow.
Sure. As you tap on the elbow, the stone sort of along the ridge of the elbow begins to crumble just slightly, suggesting other materials other than just stone are involved.
I don't know what this is.
Well, I've seen enough. Should we go and see if we can get out this way? I'll go over to where the boarded up wind thing is and see if I can peek through the slats.
As you look through slats, there are there's some gaps that maybe a smaller entity could sort of squeeze through, but ultimately it's quite boarded up. It doesn't look like it would take much for you to knock said boards down, but at the moment it is boarded up.
What can I see if I'm peeking through the slats?
Sure. You look through the slats and you're kind of trying to see through, and you see a wall about, 30, 40 foot down, that seems to have a right-hand turn to it. Plenty of cobwebs, plenty of old dust and stone, but the same as basically what you see here. But there is a small trickle of light from that side, meaning there may be an entrance, exit, or something similar there, as you do feel more air on your eyes. They get kind of that weird dry thing that happens when you've got a fan on your face.
There's another tunnel down this way, guys.
Before we have a look down your tunnel there, I want to check out these bodies. Give me a second, guys. I want to see if these are researchers. I know you said last time there's some adventurers or what looks like could be adventurers and that kind of stuff. But I want to see if I can tell time periods based on what they're wearing or what they have.
Okay. I'll give you...
Could I
I'd
help
say
with that actually, just because
Sure.
my mother was a tailor and she might know.
She
I
sewed
might
you new blue
pick a
jeans.
few things.
Yeah. You can... I think I've said that joke maybe 9 times in our stream so far.
I think so, yeah.
You can both make investigation, or one of you, or with advantage. I'll leave it up to you guys.
I'll give you advantage on it.
Okay. That'd be a 13.
13, perfect. Yeah. I mean, they look quite similar to what you had experienced before with folks in leathery armor. They look armored, like with leather armor, and they look like they have weapons. So some of them have swords, some of them have bows, some of them just look afraid. In terms of, are they related to these other folk? Your best guess would be probably in some capacity. Yeah.
Okay. Based on like where they seem to be running from, like
they're facing
the tunnel carries on go.
They're
right?
facing towards you.
Yeah,
but
like as if they're running away from something behind them.
Right. Yeah.
And where does that tunnel go? We don't know that way yet.
That tunnel goes north. At least there seems to be another tunnel up further away, about 100 feet from you, that goes to the right. And then that other tunnel goes straight forward for another, it could be 40, 50, 60 feet. Like, it seems to go pretty far straight. Towards the very end of that, I'll give you, because I know your passive is pretty high, so I'll give you this to reward that passive a little bit more. It seems to be kind of foggy or something up ahead as well. It's not just, like when you look down in Minecraft, like if there's enough distance, it becomes like this fog begins to appear, or if you look far away enough, it's just kind of the world fog. But you do have some sort of real version of this happening.
Okay.
Odd to use Minecraft physics as an example for real world things, but there we go.
It works.
It works.
I can always send Albie further on ahead if you'd like, and we see. They're not quite stone, are they, Yos?
No, these are something else. It's not like what Dash was a couple of weeks ago.
Do we think it's the same effects, should we say?
Similar, but I wouldn't put it under the same tile, for example.
These don't look like they can break out of their own accord like I did.
No.
No.
Are they kind of crumpling where you touch them, yes? Like dust?
Mm-hmm.
Eos, I would almost describe it as ashen.
Can I take out my dagger and just kind of see if I can pierce through the hand of one of them? Like, is there much resistance?
Whoa.
There's no resistance at all, as the fingers crumble and the hand crumbles to ash.
Huh. Okay, well, I don't think there's any saving, though.
So it looks like it's not only the flesh that is gone.
I was about to say, as harsh as it sounds, this is better than what would have been the case if it had been like how Dash was.
Being encased for hundreds of years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine how hungry you would get.
Do you know how crazy you would go?
Well, I think it's a 50-50. Either you go insanely crazy, or you really find yourself.
Or you find yourself going crazy.
That's how you survived, right?
Oh, yes.
You see?
As long as we know we're crazy.
I think no matter how we go or move forward, I'm gonna mark the way back.
Yes, do.
And he's marking as he did before, and he's also checking with Ayame that nobody is creeping up from behind.
Ayame and Lissa are watching your back, so to speak. You guys are welcome to be a part of that process or not, to help with rolls or not, that's up to you. But it'll grant you advantage basically if you're watching your back. So in this case, if you want to take a look, it's perception or investigation, depending what you're looking for, with advantage. They are helping you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm perceptive enough anyway, it's fine.
Oh, damn it. 12.
Doesn't seem like there's much in the way of threats, but to be fair, the tunnel isn't quite large in that sense. Like, you can see the other wall, you know where you came from, you haven't wandered far from where those creatures left you. So, you're not that far away.
While this is happening, I'm standing against the boarded up area. Think Harley Quinn with the baseball bat, because I have that crowbar I've had for ages. So I'm going to turn to the guys and say, before we go any further, do we think this is made to keep people in or out? And if whatever did that comes this way, shouldn't we open this first?
I think it's to keep them out. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, if someone was running from that way, if we go there, because I gather curiosity is going to kill this particular bunch of cats. If we're going that way, we're going to want to come back this way. I'm assuming we don't want to go back the way we came and end up accidentally spooking the creatures that were so kind to let us through. So it would be no harm to have another exit opened up here. If it's something very powerful, I don't think these slats of wood are going to prevent it coming this way anyway. I'll take out my crowbar. Slate, shall we?
Yeah, one side each at the same time, sort of prying it off and pushing it until the nails give or whatever's holding it in.
Well,
I'll heave and you ho.
In the most entertaining of checks ever, this will be athletics from both of you, please.
Sure, that'll be fine.
Quiet if you can, boys. Yes. Would you be able to just watch me for a second to make sure I'm okay?
Of course.
Dash got a dirty one.
I got 2 for a 1.
A dirty one is a very rare thing.
Dirty 1.
Oh, man.
Slate's doing all the heavy lifting here.
Straight 16.
Dash is
On the
really good at
upside.
pretending, though. So if you want to make a sleight of hand check, I'll let you decide if you.
Oh,
how much
absolutely.
Yeah,
100%. Yeah, 100%. Or deception.
Deception, sleight of hand. I'll give it to you, whichever.
Yeah.
Just to make him think that you're helping. Like when you're like carrying something with someone, but you kind of let them do all the work and you just pretend. 19.
Yeah, right. Like this. It's given Slate. I can feel it.
Slate, I'll let you know. I'll let you decide how much that convinces you. Oh, even better, you do your roll.
Mary.
8. Yeah.
Very
Okay.
convincing.
So
Pretty
both
convinced.
of you do a lot of heavy lifting here.
Oh.
As you stick your crowbars in and pry open the wood, Eos, what I'll consider to be one of the first passive Arcana checks. You notice a
that
faint
sounds good.
glow of a circular shape just fade and turn to dust. So subtle, but you pick up on it as the boards break.
From which direction?
The boards themselves.
Okay. Interesting. Okay.
It would have taken the circumference of the boards in a full circular thing.
Madriana did also ask
Sorry.
Eos to keep an eye on her for a second, and she's going to walk into Albie
Okay.
and basically send him down where the running was from of the flame ash creatures.
Okay. I'll say that you're holding on to Eos and she's just looking around. While you're doing that, she's just casually looking around, notices them crack the thing and notices the board.
And we'll continue taking boards off while all this is happening, because once you get one, it's easier to get the next and so on.
Yeah,
and so
it's
on.
not too hard to get through them all anyway. There's not much resistance at that point. You guys are doing really well together as a team, definitely not just one of you. As Albie flies down the tunnel, he notices a few more of the bodies and some sort of sticks and stuff that are kind of what would be described as charred. And you reach a crossing. One is a right turn that seems to lead just straight away to a left turn. And behind the right turn is someone holding a sword like this. But they're completely, again, I would call it petrified or ashen. And then straight ahead of you is that tunnel that leads to the sort of foggy walkway. But that is also, or a foggy pathway, I should say. But that is also not that far ahead of Albie now as well.
Okay. Question with that guy, particularly on that corner. Is the sword ashen as well?
Yeah.
Or just the person?
Oh, that's a good question. I think the sword would still be metallic, but
Stuck in place.
I would almost call it warped.
Right, okay. So it's superheated, but it's not turned to ash like it was a magical effect.
Yeah, that would be the answer. The leather and everything would be almost gone and destroyed, and
Right.
like there would be tatters of pieces left.
Yeah.
But
yeah, so someone superheated, not someone magically turned to ash kind of thing. Gotcha.
yeah.
Eos, there's a couple of different turns. Which do you think I should do? There's a right turn. The right turn was with the guy, right?
Right
Roper?
turn's where the guy is, yeah, and then there's
Yeah.
a left turn immediately there, or there's a straight path ahead of you. That's a little bit further in length, but it's not much further.
What do you think?
Go right.
And like almost instinctually, like Madriana like just kind of drifts to the right slightly, forgetting that she's not actually the one flying for a second. It's almost like a
I like that, yeah.
spiritual connection kind of thing, just like she's actually the bird.
Right.
And then yeah, so he's going to go right, and at this point I'm actually going to like command him to be quiet, so to glide as much as possible, only using his wings when he needs to.
There's kind of just that, like, it's not even really a far turn until you reach kind of what looks like the end of the hallway, but it's a slight glide as he just shifts down in velocity and keeps himself afloat. Ahead of you is a large moss and rock, similar to what you'd seen before, nothing unusual for a cave. But there's two people here. One of them is sort of protecting themselves and has their hands up, and one is just in fragments on the ground. They again look in the similar state to the others that you have found.
But dead end.
Literally.
How far?
I've never seen an eye roll that big.
Yeah.
How far is that? I would say it's not super far. Like, I would say the stretch to the right is about 30 feet, and then the stretch up is about another 30 feet. So it's not like a significant distance.
Okay.
It seems more like a hiding space or a nook than it would to be. Like, it's rather large. I mean, 30 feet is good, but it's it's not a pathway.
That's fine. Just so I know, like, how long it's going to take to come back, because mentally I'm drawing the picture of this
4
place
turns.
out.
2 if you dash.
Yeah. So yeah, bring him back. Straight ahead, or should I take the left this time?
Straight on.
You guys are to the left and to the right. If you're coming out again, and to the right.
Yeah,
would be the
yeah.
fog.
I mean, from our original position.
Gotcha.
So I'm going to send
You
him
only
what
have-
was the straight on. From
Yeah, you
us.
only have straight on then. Otherwise, you're going back to yourself in terms of that path. It's not a full T. It's like there's just one jut out to the right, basically, when you're going.
Oh, right. Sorry. Yeah. So then straight forward then.
Yeah, so you'd be going straight forward. So you head into the foggy area, and there you find what looks like just a bunch of sort of pathways. 2 to the left. There seems to be 1 to the left, to the right, 1 to the left and to the right, and it leads forward and onward. It looks almost labyrinthian at that point.
Okay. And I hate using popular media as an idea in my head, but do the pathways look snake-like? Like maybe in the Chamber of Secrets? Do they look like they're purposeful for a creature?
They don't look hand dug or dug by a creature. They look formed.
Yeah.
Also, we would have discussed last week that tunnels and networks under this would be normal for this area, because this is why they built Dagthorpe to begin with, was because the mines were researched areas, because there's so many walkways and passages and possibilities. But what I will say is that this area in particular is densely foggy or misty, and in that way there's something different about this space than there is about the prior spaces you have been to. You are further under the mountains, basically.
Okay. I'm.
Can you make
as I'm doing this?
What is Albie's? It's your passive actually, is it? Because you're warped into it.
Don't actually let me look at the actual spell and I'll tell you.
Because you're warged in, I think it would be your passive, so I'll go with that. That's okay.
Okay.
No.
Go ahead. No, if you know the answer, because you did have this for a long time.
Normally in Find Familiar, you have the passives from the creature that you created.
Even though you're in the creature?
Yeah, but you're looking through their eyes and hearing through their ears.
That's how Mercer rules it anyway.
Okay, then that's what we'll do. Yeah. Who am I to challenge Mercer?
You're your own DM. You are your own DM.
That's true. No, we'll go with that then. So do you know what Albie's passive is?
I can tell you right now.
All right.
If I click the right thing. Perception is wisdom, right? So it's 2 plus 8. He doesn't get proficiency, so it's a 10.
Flat 10. I would say he notices a lot of like oddly colored and shaped rocks, and would be relaying that to you in some capacity, whichever way you see that through his eyes. It's not being picked up or fed to you that way, I guess, so it would be weird rocks, but there's something strange about it, but yeah.
Okay. Relaying this all back to Eos as it happens, like real time kind of thing. And I bring him back with the mind to see what the boys are up to.
Okay. Just by then, they would have taken the boards down. Slate has about 8 or 9 boards. Dash has 2. But 2 heavier boards. And so it's a good mix.
That's over. Should we go have a look down here while Amidriana's doing the other tunnel?
Sure. And the whole point was to have a fast getaway, so if there's another door down here or more planks, we better open those as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'll just throw the crowbar over one shoulder and start walking down that tunnel.
That's a great idea. You go first.
Well,
Okay.
So it's wide open. There's nothing down here.
You throw the crowbar over your shoulder. You head down, you go around the corner. I'm going to say make an investigation, not just directly for what it is, because I'll explain that regardless of your role, but for how much of what this is that you take in. So for me, it would be beneficial.
It's 8.
Okay.
Gonna be one of those evenings, so I know how these rolls are going.
If I'm there, do I also get to make one?
If you're with him, sorry, I thought you sent him ahead of you. I apologize. Yeah.
I mean, like a couple of feet in front of me. He's not going on his own.
Go ahead then.
I just meant,
Oh my god.
No, I'm not rolling again tonight.
I'm pretty sure you are.
Nope. I refuse on strike.
That's okay. That's just an auto fail then. All right. So.
Damn it.
Slate with your 19 to investigation, significantly better. Dash, what you notice first...
Twice as good, some might say.
What you notice first is a large cave that just seems to be round and open, and that's kind of it. There's nothing there. But Slate, it bothers you that you can feel the wind or the air. So you start...
I'm going to put my crowbar like... the crook of it over his shoulder and drag him back straight away. I'm just stopping him straight away, and I'm going to start walking him backwards. I'm going to start walking him backwards
on stage.
and I'm going to say to him, "What if this isn't air and this is something breathing?" And I'm just going to start pulling him backwards.
Oh! I suddenly feel like I want to be very quiet.
Yeah.
Wait, Ken, you mentioned that it looked like I could see light when I was speaking through the slats. Is that visible here.
Nope, but it does seem like the cave is very well lit up for something with no entrance or exit.
Everything is ashen. It could be fire. And I'm just going to keep walking backwards. Just keep slowly.
Would
slowly.
I hide something fire breathing in a cave that's invisible? Me?
Would you hide dragons in a dungeon in this game? No. Okay, so I think I get what you're implying, Slate. I feel like we should get out of here.
No.
Yeah.
You're not there.
Definitely going to just retrace my steps slowly. That's it.
Slowly.
I would say, Madron, as you come back in, you just see sort of Dash and Slate stepping back slowly from around the corner. Eos, you would definitely see this. Hatsu, I don't know if you're still just watching your back or if you're engaged here, but you can choose to see this if you're not, or if you want to or not. It's up to you.
No, I'm watching the back and Madriana.
Okay.
Stepping back into the group, I'm just going to turn and go, I just had a thought, and I'm going to say to them, what if it was what I said, to keep something in, and that air is something breathing, and that light is something fire related?
No.
Do you not know
Dragons.
how to dodge fire?
I mean, I
You
prefer not to
honestly-
dodge it if I don't have to.
You honestly believe there's a dragon down here, do you?
I didn't say dragon, he did.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
It's a dragon. Well, if there's air being or breath coming up, and there's a lot of fire and people burnt to a crisp,
A
Yes.
dragon
What
will
else-
need to
what
eat
else do you think?
so much.
dragons can stay for hundreds of years without eating. I'm fairly sure. I've read the children's books.
That is exactly what I was going to say. Eos, you're the only person who realizes that dragons are most likely a mythological creature, and there has been one known encounter of one which was considered a race threat many, many years ago, and it is not something that would reasonably be hidden here, but you can still enjoy yourself in the knowledge that they are arguing over this and bickering over this for sure. But the only true legend of dragons is from children's mythology.
Lissa, fancy taking a rather sneaky look with me?
Oh, I do love a good sneaky look.
Hold down the fort, guys. We'll be back in a moment. And the idea is to be my slinkiest, stealthiest, no one's gonna fucking see me self, and with her check out ahead of us where they were talking about.
She clears off her goggles a little bit, and she just starts moving forward with you, sort of in a prone, not like a crouched position, but she's still mobile, moving.
Okay, I'm following them stealthy too.
Fair enough.
I swear to God, if you start making noise.
Oh,
I would love a stealth
waiting.
check from you, but also Madriana and Alyssa.
I'm going to wait for them to go first, and then no, I'm not letting her go alone, and
Oh,
follow
interesting.
after. So kind of not letting them know I'm following, kind of thing.
Oh, Ram said not to let this happen.
That'd be a 17 for me.
15 for me. There's a part of me that wants to use my inspiration here, but I'm also I feel like there's a better check coming that I can.
Yeah, I'm saving that for the dodge.
Yeah.
Madriana, you are aware of Dash. Whether or not you choose to tell him is up to you, but your passive is higher than his roll. Lissa is also aware of Dash, but besides that, you guys are good.
Am I aware of Lissa?
Yeah, you would be aware of Lissa as well.
So we're not technically all trying to hide from each
Actually,
other.
yeah, I actually think you're all pretty aware of each other, except for potentially Dash, because his passive is so low, but he was watching you directly and you couldn't go anywhere. So I'm going to say, in some capacity, he knows where you are, because he did say he's following you, so.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, so basically cover and clear every corner as we go through.
Right.
Until, and I'm checking out what might look like a dead empty space within a bit of a cavern. I'm watching first before I move any further to see if there's any movement, any breath, anything.
Confirm to me which way you're going. You're going the way that Dash and Slate went, was it? Yeah. So you're heading to the left of the T-junction. So as you head left and go down around the corner, you are met with a large open space. I would say, Dash, if you're there, you can help with this if you want to, but Adriana, you can make an investigation check to kind of discern the information you asked for and generally get a good vibe for what the space is. Yeah.
Okay. And you said there's like a fog or a smoke here, right?
Not here. That's the other direction. Here, this is just a large open cave. Yeah, and the information I gave earlier about the cave.
So yeah, just kind of be there behind her. Slate pointed out that it's odd that there's no visible place where the wind should be coming from.
So yeah, I'm going to be looking for that. And also, actually, as I now have these new abilities to be able to see, or at least understand runics and markings of that sort, I want to check that there's no magical stuff down
That'll
here.
be a separate Arcana check.
That's fine.
Unfortunately, there's nobody here to help you with that because it's just you, Dash, and
That's
Melissa.
fine.
But yeah, you can do that as well. But I'll get you to do the investigation for me and then the Arcana.
Okay, and is that an advantage because of Keaton?
Dash is helping you with the investigation, so he doesn't want to roll anymore, I believe.
So that's a 21 for investigation.
All right, if you want to give me your Arcana check as well.
This is not going to be as good. I mean,
It's not bad.
17.
17. So your first instinct is immediately, why the fuck is this room bright? There are no entrances or exits. This is something that Adriana looks for when she walks into any space, so this is something that you would be well versed in checking for. You also notice that there's nothing of value or wealth in this room, but that's, a given in a cave. You weren't expecting that anyway. It's just something worth noting. In terms of air, there feels like an airflow here. It's cold. It's a very fresh smell compared to the dank, dark cave that you're in. In terms of Arcana, there isn't necessarily an obvious sigil or something specific that stands out to you, but I will keep it in mind if there is something going forward that you're checking for that and you're keeping that in your purview.
Okay.
Or in your
You said there's no obvious thing of where this wind is coming from.
Yeah.
Is there any breath that I see? Do I hear any breathing? Any low-lying grumble?
It's not rhythmic in the sense of like breathing has a rhythm to it. It's inhale, exhale. There's a rhythm to that, even if it's slow and steady or if it's high-paced. There's a rhythm to that. There's no discernible rhythm to this. It just feels like almost a constant airflow.
Okay, so still being as quiet and as like she's literally, or I'm literally like tapping the floor with my foot as I go forward.
Yeah.
Like if there's something that's going to drop, if there's something that's not there, I'm going to know it before I even get on it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I basically want to make my way around and see if I can find this air source.
Yeah. I'm going to say make a survival check for me. And if Dash is helping you, he can. Lissa will also be gladly helping you. So.
Yes. I have an idea. Lissa, do you have one of your feathers?
Yes, darling, of course. She takes out a little satchel that has about 850 black feathers in it.
Holy, how many fucking birds did you... Anyway.
That's not to ask these questions.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't want to know. Just hold one up and see what kind of direction we get.
Okay. I'll say you're both helping Adriana with the check since it was her call. I'll let her do the rolls. You can if you want to as well. Just do one each.
No, you're just...
Ooh, I'm lucky that was an advantage.
Yeah, that was a nat 1 at the beginning, but a dirty 10. Yeah, that's fine. 10 is... Yeah, it's a little bit tricky. You can see that the feather's moving, but it's like a lot more force to it than you would anticipate, again, from a cave with no discernible entrance, exit, window space, even a hole or like a gap in it that would create such an airflow. It's a little hard to pin it down.
You say this is an open space. Is it brick? Is it slate? Is it...
It's stone, like it's
rock?
It's rock, yeah, like it's mountain rock specifically. The cave looks the exact same, not in terms of shape, but the same material as the cave when you entered before.
Okay. Well, as I'm going to kind of usher them out, like back towards the entrance or exit, depending on which way you go in.
Sure.
Just before we get out, I'm going to pick up a stone, and I want to try and skim it, like across the ground, because Adriana has seen things back home and stuff where people have made like walls appear there that they're not actually there, kind of thing.
Vertiwar?
And she, yeah, so secret clandestine rooms and that kind of stuff. So she's trying to find that point. I didn't want to say it, but yeah, she wants to find where that point is.
No problem. Okay. I'll give you dexterity because it's a ranged weapon. So use I'll say use your acrobatics for this because it'll give you your proficiencies and stuff anyway, which is just a little bit more comfortable.
Okay.
Made your hand doing a backflip while skimming a stone.
So she throws the stone and it just hits the floor and kind of sticks into a pile of mud. I won't say mud. I'll say dry dirt because mud involves a water source and there isn't one right here.
Just want to say that's 2 nat 1s in a row.
But the other one didn't count, if that helps. This one did.
It didn't count, but still.
That is pretty astronomical, though. Yeah.
Would you like me to have a go with that?
Yeah, you would see this.
Yeah, I'll pick up that same stone and I'll try it.
Okay, you walk the 1 step forward to get the stone. You crouch down, you pick it up, and you take a step back. Woo!
24.
Hell yeah, buddy.
Little flip and
it goes across the ground and almost it skims it. Like, have you ever seen those professional stone skimmers on the water where it just kind of keeps going and you're like, holy shit, and it keeps going and going and going, and as it's about to hit the end of the wall,
it just disappears through the floor.
no sound anyway.
I take it that's what you were looking for.
Yes. Well,
Do you think Albie would get through there?
If it is indeed open, he could get through. It's at that point that I would have probably left Albie actually with Eos as a, let me know if something was going to happen kind of thing. Albie would probably leave Eos's shoulder. That was, of course, if Eos was okay with that originally.
Mentioned, so DM's ruling. It wasn't discussed or mentioned.
I would say
no. Whether you were comfortable having it on your shoulder, I mean.
Oh, sorry.
Like, yeah. So Albie would fly through, and essentially, as much as this might actually be a bad thing, Madriana sending him like nosedive straight through kind of thing.
Okay. Albie goes just absolutely flying towards the wall. I lean on pop culture heavily for my references, so this is akin to Black Panther. They're flying into Wakanda for the first time, and it's just like, why are you speeding up kind of thing? And they go in. And as they as Albie goes through, there's just no sound of flapping, no nothing. And then a few moments later, as Albie comes flying back out through the wall.
Do you want to do the thing with where your eyes go dark? I don't know what it's called.
And she just holds out her hand for one of them to grab her.
I got you.
And rather than going dark, it does that little flare like it usually would. And I'll send Albie back through again.
With that's just passive, he probably just thinks it goes dark.
Yeah.
You go through again, and it's a very jarring feeling. Although you've encountered stuff like this before, and definitely heard legend of stuff like this before, this is your first time doing something like this. And it's a really weird feeling because every fiber of your being doesn't want you to crash into this wall because it's associative with pain. Anytime anyone has ever ran into a wall, it hurts. Her wings have
stopped working on her appliance and she's fallen off a building. She knows this feeling.
She knows this feeling, right? Exactly. So there is a fear that goes deeper than just the flesh, right? You have this ingrained. So you almost want to close your eyes as you're going through, but as you do, the wall just sort of fades and suddenly Albie is very fucking cold. There's a large amount of air and wind coming at you. There's the sound of the outside. The gusts are blowing, and there's actually a blizzard outside now. It's begun, and as Albie goes towards, swings to the left, there's a big open sort of gateway or doorway there. And as you fly through and come back, you realize the doorway is no longer visible. And as Albie comes through again, it becomes visible again. And based on your Arcana check from earlier, you'll realize there are small sigil markings above the two stone areas. This tunnel was hidden, probably on purpose.
But it's a tunnel, or does it go to outside?
It goes to outside. It's an entrance that leads to a tunnel. The tunnel is hidden from both sides, from the entranceway and from the cave that you were in. But it would have been a very parallel part to where you guys went in. It would be another cave entrance where you could camp and do things like you did in the other one.
Okay. So I don't see anything out there, no people, no campsite, no nothing like that.
Nothing strange or out of the ordinary, no.
Okay. Relaying that to Dash. Bring Albie back. She knows he doesn't feel it, but still she takes him in and just wraps him for a second. It seems like it's just another entrance, but a sneakily hidden one. I'm guessing for whatever they were doing down here, this might have been a way to get things in and out unnoticed.
What's the kind of area we're talking that's hidden? Like,
it's pretty big. Like the tunnel itself leading to the exit it's about like 30 and 30 again. Like there's a lot of that kind of dimension within these tunnels. So it's like, it's a curved walkway. And Madriano's feeding you this information, not the DM, but it's a curved walkway that leads to that exit. And the wind is a lot stronger on the other side, so you can actually feel that this magic isn't just necessarily a gateway or doorway, but it prevents certain sounds from coming through. It prevents certain elements from coming through. It just can't stop all of this wind. And that's what you're feeling. You're feeling a small trickle of air, which may be purposeful, so that there can be oxygen and air in here. It doesn't get dank and dark and damp. But it's also lit up as if they weren't here, so light can still pass through. So you are still seeing light through it, like, because the light from outside is what's lighting this cave. So,
is there any part of this open area that feels like a bootlegger's hidey spot?
That would be up to you. I don't know if I can answer that question for you at the moment.
There's no, like, I know, coins left around. There's no indicators of stuff being stored.
Stuff like that. Sure, absolutely.
This sounds like almost like a Verdoir thing. Like, let's put our stuff here and then we can hide it and move it around. And oh, it's so close. 19.
It is like, it's pretty hard to find anything here, but what you do find is a lot of tracks that lead into the cave, and those tracks would be of some kind of like wagon or something with wheels on it, as opposed to what you guys drag around with you out by your tents. This is something that is definitely mobile and movable and may have been brought here or left here. There seems to be a certain area that it was brought over to and then eventually led across. Some of the tracks seem newer than others, but they're still all very old tracks.
Madriana, the petrified, burnt people or whatever, did they look official to you? Like, would they have been part of the establishment, for want of a better word?
I think there was a mixture of different people. It seemed to be a lot of wayward adventurers, I suppose you'd call them.
What I'm trying to get at is, you described runes, magic hiding this.
Well, there has to be a form of magic to hide it, yes. And this isn't like an easy magic either. This isn't just something you set up in 10 minutes.
It's dedicated kind of Industrial scale magic?
At least beyond a power that I have any reasoning of.
Okay,
Eos
so
maybe would know. We could get Eos to check it out.
yeah, what I'm trying to understand is if this is a place that is known by those in power, I'm surprised they would use magic to conceal it rather than something of Decker's. Or is this something made by those who would try to hide it from those in power?
That's kind of what made me think it might have been a stopgap for those of our kin, shall we say.
I mean, if this turns out to be, fairly clear, could be a place we could take advantage of down the line.
Absolutely. Just depends who knows about it. But in saying that, if it was one of theirs, it would probably be the least expected place for us to be.
Yes, but if it's one of the establishments, then clearly they're full of shit.
As if you didn't know that already.
Yeah, even more full of shit.
Can I make a rub-in of the runes to show to Eos? Or are they like light ruins? They're not actually inscribed.
There's a little bit of a carving, but it's more of a magical aura than a written one. But
okay, well I'll explain what I saw when it flashed then to Eos once we get back.
I can try to sketch if you like.
If you can, absolutely. I just might be handy for Eos to know kind of what level of person we might be dealing with.
Also, we're not too far away. We can just go get them.
Don't know if I like this room. Something feels very off about it. But we can.
Okay.
Anyway, the dragon eats you guys. Eos and Slate.
At least it's warm in its belly.
Eos and Slate, you see them coming back from around the corner, Lysento as well. Hatsu still nothing approaching from the path that you went through. You do hear the beasts that helped you before. They are back in there and they're living their life, doing whatever beasts do. You do hear that noise, but nothing has crossed that threshold or that line.
So it seems we found the source of your air, Slate. There's a secret tunnel that leads from that cave outside.
Yeah, I don't know why you thought it was dragons, Slate. That's silly.
I'm so glad that you're alive.
So what you're saying is there is somebody used that cave to hide something that does webs, right?
I think it was either used as a quick exit, storage, or could be of use for clandestine movement.
But how do you explain the sacrifice area and the dead bodies?
I don't. And I
So it
can't.
appears more to be like a stronghold for a cult or something like that. A place where you could operate in silence.
I feel what you're putting down, and you could very well be right, Hatsu.
Because there must clearly something be in here that scares the creatures that we met in the entrance.
If I had a cult, this would be a great place for it.
Do you have a cult?
Not yet.
Of personality.
Oh,
Oh, I have a cold.
It is cold, isn't it?
Well, should we check this labyrinth I found?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, why not?
We
That's
should
what I.
consider the elixir, friends.
The what now?
The elixir, the thing we're here to get.
I mean, running back
Run back.
is always an option, right? And we should know what
Well,
is behind
there-
us when we go further, I guess.
Yes, plus there's a massive blizzard outside. We're not going anywhere in that at the moment. So, while we're here...
And we know those researchers didn't have outdoor clothing, which means there has to be a way through to some sort of civilization, perhaps the town where we want to get to anyway. So if we can't go in the blizzard, we might as well go this way. Dash, after you.
Thank you. Madriana, after you.
I'd like
He just
to.
steps into the shadow.
I'm going to pick up some of the ash that was dissolved and fell on the ground. I want to pick up a decent clump of it. And if I have to take some off to make more, I want to fill one of my pockets with a ton of it.
Pocket ash, nice. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Like pocket bacon, but ashier.
Yeah, sure. I'm not
Wait, do you have a
planning on
pocket full
eating
of asher?
Are you okay, Dash?
Sorry.
That's spelled
Is
dash
your
without
brain
ash.
cold?
I get nervous.
What an
with that.
ash hole.
Let's go to the labyrinth.
Yours has just reached
I'm
the turning point where she'd just
sure.
rather die than have this conversation.
Sure,
I'm
nothing
going
has ever
to
followed those
draw-
words.
I'm going to draw my sword.
A good choice.
I'm gonna slink.
Down a stairway.
Yeah. Absolutely
shall
useless, but
also
fun to
just-
push downstairs.
I should also sneak my way through the tunnels.
I am going to take the pocket full of ash and start rubbing it on my face like Arnold Schwarzenegger in Predator. You know, and start going to cover all my skin in ash and my clothes and everything, so I look like a little bit like one of them. And then I'm going to do
get
like
in your
Pink
eyes.
Panther, where I start walking behind one of the statue people, then walk to another one, then pretend to be a statue and just keep like moving the corridor like that.
I wouldn't mind, but couldn't Slate just change his face to an ashen state? Like he didn't have to.
I just have to make sure it's authentic.
It's
It smells
authentic,
right.
yeah.
It looks
He's a
right,
method
you know what I
actor.
mean?
Yeah. I like that.
But like, that was someone.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, come on,
It's
Eos.
just
You
the
must have
way
had
you
someone on
become
your
somebody else.
And then I take some from my pocket and do exactly what Eos did.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Salt Bay.
All right. Anyway,
Hatsu and Ayami's taking the back, watching out, and stealthy as well.
You head forward through this labyrinthian section, or at least to it, and you're greeted by sort of omnidirectional pathways. There's pathways upon pathways upon pathways. This is not as simple as just one size fits all. You are Madriana. You notice the oddly shaped stones from before, but given your current perceptive skills, I will say that they are not stones, I should say, they are skulls. They are burnt skulls and burnt bones and charred things, but they are like black burnt. Like they are crispy.
Is it just humanoid?
Just humanoid.
And are there any distinguishing features? Like, does one look more like a cat skull? Does one more look like a snake skull? That kind of thing.
No, they mostly look like humanoid, like what you would recognize as yourself. It doesn't differentiate by like racially. It actually looks human.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Is like there's no other, we say, races that seem to have come down this way. Okay. Okay. Does the frequency change? Does it get more and more? as we move on?
Of how many there are? No, nothing like that. They're just sort of sporadically placed around. Like they're not. Placed is the wrong word too, because that suggests that somebody put them there. They are sporadically positioned.
Just keep bringing everyone through, I guess. One thing I am looking for, actually, when we see these bodies that seem to have been burnt and stuff, she's trying to make a note of where they've been burnt. Now, not as in where in the labyrinth, but as in, is the scorch marks on the floor? Is it on the wall? Is it high on the wall? Is it at an angle? Like, she's trying to work out what the height of whatever could have done this is based on how it blasted.
The stone looks normal. There aren't necessarily scorch marks on the stone itself.
Oh shit, that's even worse.
So they were deliberately targeted?
You hear from the last row. Maybe that's why it's called Volcanus.
I'm actually wondering now whether it's more of a case of being able to do this without flame.
Just confirming what's been said before here. There's no distinguishing features. There's no like elongated ears or facial features or anything. No. They're just like the people of Pompeii.
The fact that there's anything there, it's more than the people of Pompeii because they were encased in like ash and various things. This is more like they were charred to a crisp. Like
Nutty. Okay.
They are. The skulls are pitch black and cracking and fragmented and breaking. And the different. I'm using skull as an example, but there are other parts. There are components in different places: limbs, femurs, legs. It's like there are different components of bodies, multiple.
Do you have an idea of numbers?
It would be difficult to tell based on the spread.
Having experienced, I'm going to say, death and loss and I will say having a mediocre medical knowledge rather than saying being used to seeing body parts around the place. I pay no attention to any of this. Let everybody do their talking, and I'm just kicking the ash on the ground with my feet and looking for anybody drop a coin, maybe a ring on someone's finger, anything at all. And I'm just letting them do whatever, but just sweeping for anything of value and paying attention to the corpses, but actually in and around them in case something was dropped that's still usable or in any way.
Investigation for me, and I'm going to give you advantage because there's actually more here that I would like to discuss with you.
Dirty 20.
So starting with your question, if there were anything metallic on their bodies, it is long gone, either by pickpockets, thieves, or just melted away, worn away, destroyed, whatever nature. There's nothing. But what you do find is that certain aspects of these bones that are fragmented and broken, as you're standing up and you turn around, you look up and you see that like part of an arm is stuck into the wall and part of like a rib cage is stuck into a different part of the tunnel, and
everyone's attention, obviously, mostly by just doing that thing on the sidewalk, you know, where you stand there and look and people walk past and stand there and start looking, just making it really obvious, like, what the fuck is that?
How did that footprint get on the roof? Asked every parent with a toddler. Would this is a question to the group, does this kind of give anyone Boreal vibes? You know,
No.
like point of fire and explosion and outwards expression of fire.
If it wasn't so sporadic, maybe. Unless it's someone with Boreal's power, but able to actually control it.
But the continuity, if that's a word, of the constant flow of whatever burned looks more natural, I guess. I can't imagine somebody having a constant flow of magma-like heat to create this.
If it was an attack, you'd see marks on the walls. You'd see the casting of it in a direction.
Yes, think back. You must have read books of the different continents and places. Is there anything remotely to do with this kind of thing here?
No, most of the books that I read were of different sources and types. I'm not too good at geography.
Okay, fair. Maybe
Didn't we had a
next
book
time.
on that topic? I'm pretty sure you did read a book that I gave you.
Checks your inventory.
I haven't got around to reading it yet, okay?
To confirm, there is no such book.
Would I have heard anything growing up in Palperos, history of kind of eruptions or anything like that in Volcanus that would have made the news?
And Volcanus erupts, yeah. It's not just like a pseudo eruption. Like, there several times throughout history, Volcanus has had quite large scale eruptions, one of which in more recent history would have threatened Dagthorpe as well to be destroyed because it came in this direction predominantly.
DM, are we by any chance slightly physically warmer?
It's
Feeling
fucking
warmer?
warm in here, yeah, for sure.
Thank you.
Not dangerously, but it is warm.
No, that's okay.
This is something that would have been
Can I
brought up in
ask-
a little while, but there is a notable increase in heat, yeah.
Gotcha.
With the check
Not
that I did
massively,
for what I
like,
was
you're
looking
still
for,
miles and
Okay.
miles and miles away from Volcanus, just to be clear.
I'll take out my giant thermometer. Go.
Slate, go ahead, sorry, Paul.
I was just checking, seeing as I was looking at the ceiling and we've seen the bones and the bits on the ceiling. While I was examining all that, in previous rooms we saw web-like things. There's nothing else in here because before we were thinking about, is it a creature, is it man-made, is it this, is it that? So upon looking at the ceiling and looking around, is there anything else that catches my attention in any way? Anything at all that sticks out other than it's a plain ceiling that just happens to have some bones on it?
They're not delicately placed. They are jammed into the stone with such force that you're not sure even a person could do that. So it doesn't seem like it's something that, like, even the strongest of you could take like a bone and just stab it through stone. That would be a mighty impressive feat. I'm not sure if that perfectly answers your question, but
Do we carry on, or do you want to head back?
Oh, we're in this far. Curiosity's getting the better of me. Let's keep going.
Is
Before we go
everyone
any
okay with
further,
that?
before we go any further, if we encounter something, which everything in here seems to be alarming, and more alarming the further that we go, is our plan to try and go past it or go back into the blizzard? Or back into those creatures? Because we should agree now what we're going to do if and when that happens.
If we find a pack of sheep, I say we go past it. If it is something big and fire-breathing, I say we run the fuck away. And I'm sure there's scales in between.
To the
Okay.
blizzard? To the beasts? To where?
Whichever seems more logical as we're sprinting back.
I think it's always the safer options to go back to the place that you know it's safe, right?
plus all of our stuff is sort of back that way. We would need to at least
Agreed.
swing by on the way out.
Very true.
If there is whatever this is down here, and those creatures up above are obviously frightened of it, I'd rather not lead it straight to them, though.
Right, back to the blizzard. Through the cave.
Blizzard, swing around, get our stuff off to Dagthorpe.
I would prefer that option, I think.
Also, if possible, Amidrana, as you can fly, if you're making a speedy escape and you can only take one person, I'd like to remind you that I really appreciate you and I think you're wonderful.
I just throw her a look like.
Dash, you
And
don't
you're
need to be
quite light as well.
You don't need to be fast to escape something that wants to kill you. You just need to be faster than the slowest person.
Or
like your
the
odds.
trippiest person.
The mentally slowest, or
In some cases, if you want to take advantage of that situation.
Slate, why are you looking at me?
You look around and kind of everybody's
No
looking at you.
Let us proceed. More quietly than we were before, I think, though.
Okay. So,
Onwards!
south being
Your
where you
whispers.
just came from, you can go north, south, east, west. There are many directions and many pathways.
North.
There's still cave systems, though, right? It's not like an actual labyrinth with something above us that we can get to.
No, it's still a cave network. It's just there's a lot of pathways.
is there any indication previously when we came to a junction, we took some time to assess if any changes were coming from them, like light, heat, wind, is there anything with these assortment of tunnels in front of us, if we spend a moment, is there anything apparent about any one of them from this current juncture?
Is this a Slate to me question or a Slate to the group question?
Slate to you question.
Then Slate, you may make either survival or investigation.
I would say as I'm leading and as I can assume passively notice what Slate's trying to achieve, could I try and assist by maybe giving Albie a quick 10, 20 foot run down that particular path and come back to us kind of thing? That I'm trying to assist.
Yeah, you can have advantage on this Slate then.
18.
Slate, you and Albie notice several things. Whether Madriana and Slate want to share this with the group, I'll leave up to them. You can tell me when this is done. To your west, there are two tunnels that are not very long. But the further in you go, of the maybe 20 odd feet that they are, it gets more narrow, and then at the end there's a very dense amount of what appears to be fog just crackling through the stone and pouring in like a sauna. To the east is a long tunnel that leads far, far down, maybe 100 feet or so, and in there is another tunnel that heads north. Along this tunnel you do find your fair share of bodies and destroyed accoutrement. So the further down you go, you find fragments of old armor, metal, old pieces of, just remnants of people being here, even charred crates that are just dissolved to the touch. There's nothing in them anymore, but they have been destroyed. To your north, there is a pathway that curves, and in it is another tunnel to the northwest, a tunnel to the north, a tunnel to the northeast, and a tunnel to the east. There are tunnels everywhere. Slate, one thing that you pick up especially here, more than Albie would be able to, and I think you'll both agree with me on that, there are small etchings on each of the different tunnels and corners that lead in different directions. That's what you get.
Seeing these etchings, obviously I would take a closer look at any of them that were apparent to see what they were, or try and make sense of whether it was writing, symbols, arrows, what is it I'm looking
To
at?
be clear, when I say etching, they're carved into the stone. So it's something that's not just no one with a pencil just drew something on. It's definitely something intently put in here. Yeah.
Yeah. So what kind of like shapes are they, or like can I decipher? Are they writing? Are they arrows? Are they like, what am I looking at other than the fact that it's in the stone?
So the one closest to you appears to be one straight sort of point with an arrow on the top, and the other one that would be to your east, that then leads north, that tunnel up there, has one arrow pointing up and one arrow pointing back. So like one down. So one looks north and one looks south. As you look up that tunnel as well, you would see that that's also dissected in two ahead of you. So there is a northeast and a northwestern path. So again, there's just more tunnels down there.
So there's arrows going down. Like I said, one of them has an arrow up and an arrow down. One of them just has an arrow down.
One has an arrow north. They both have an arrow north, and one has an arrow south added to it. So the tunnel where you started is just one singular arrow pointing north, and the tunnel that's further to your east would have a north and a south. What am I doing? I have a map. It might be easier if I just ping it, right? Let's just do that. That might just be a little bit easier for you guys, I think.
I don't like when the DM has maps.
What do you mean?
I do. Yeah.
So what we find here is our tunnel.
Where's the sauna?
Where's the sauna?
Everywhere. So Slate here, this little ping here, I don't know if you can see that.
Mm-hmm.
That is the arrow that is singularly pointing north. Down here is a tunnel that is pointing north and south in the inscription. And to our podcast listeners, I do apologize. This is probably a little bit difficult to follow, but it'll make sense eventually, hopefully.
So seeing that we have multiple directions and learning that there's someone has taken the time in some manner to do these etchings, I'm gonna pass that on to Adriana, and obviously the group presume we're somewhat together, so I will pass it on to everybody in turn. That this is certainly well used, and not only can we see lots of directions, but it implies it's very easy to get lost. Otherwise, why would you bother have written these directions? Clearly, it's to make sure you can follow a semblance of a path rather than going the wrong way and becoming whatever those guys back there were.
Makes sense. So, should we follow?
Well, I will make a bold assumption by the things that you described. So there must be something that was worth going in here with the risk of becoming ash. And there's also signs of activity that would indicate that there's like a frequency where these tunnels get flooded with, I would say, magma. And I'm kind of curious about these little spots that you described. I would like to investigate to be a little bit more sure about what that might be. If it's a natural source, it's an artificial source.
So I'd bring them right up to whatever the nearest one is and go, they all look like this.
With his chemical knowledge, I would say, because he would kind of know how sulfur would smell, and he would know how to use his kit to determine certain natural chemicals, if that makes sense, I would say.
Yeah, you've got an alchemist kit, right? So
yeah, he tries to investigate with it.
sure. Yeah, you can roll with the kit.
Oh no, it's a 4.
You're new to the kit, so it is a little bit tricky, and this isn't something you've encountered before. But I will say that Hatsu learned something in the process. So he learned what not to do, and I think that's almost as valuable as learning what to do. So every mountain starts with the first step.
Part of the way. Part of the way. Would you get like a distinct smell from these sources that would indicate it is something he would have encountered before?
It's more that it's hard to breathe here. Not like in a way of just like you're gasping for air, but there's a weight to the air here. Especially in the company of this fog. This is making it harder to breathe, yeah. But in terms of smell, I mean, it has the same faint smell of the dank cave and the dark cave and stuff like that, but also subsequently a smell of just... I think what would surprise you most is the fact that you're finding body parts and stuff like that here, but you're not smelling any decay. Not from here. Now, there was a smell of decay further back in the cave where you were, but here it doesn't smell like that. The idea,
so he would especially look for like a gassy smell, if you know what I'm saying. Because he kind of has the... Yeah.
Nothing on that vein, and nothing that smells like it's going to combust the second a single match is lit, if that makes sense. You don't strike your tinderbox and suddenly the place is going to explode. Which, you know, is always a good thing.
So no methane or anything like that around?
No sulfur, no methane, no nothing like that. It doesn't smell like any of that stuff. Now, I will say it doesn't also seem to have any effect on you guys that's making you kind of loopy or weird, so you probably sense that there's no gas in this vicinity. It's not a gas substance, if that makes sense.
Man, it seems like a couple of these places have arrows going backwards and forwards, but only some have them going forwards. Maybe we should follow a forward one.
Agreed.
In that case, you would want to regroup with Eos.
Okay. Can we move?
Yeah.
Alright.
I would say, like, discuss it before you're planning on moving much further. That's why I paused it while you guys were having a bit of a wander.
Gotcha.
Because otherwise we have to do some rolls and some checks and some other stuff that you may be missing. So it's better to take it a little bit slow as a group rather than to do the usual excited thing of running through the labyrinth line by line and hoping to find the exit. So.
Yeah.
I was trying to find a little pool to wash myself in. That was my plan.
Oh, I'm sure we'll find something like that. Don't worry.
No, don't.
Parboiled.
No, but that actually was. That's why I was going around. I was like, because he said sauna. I was like, oh, now's the time. I can use the bar of soap.
I'm giving you sauna vibes from more the sense of smoke and stuff like that, and the fact that it's emanating from somewhere.
So
from there on, Hatsu would alter the arrows that he would make so he can determine which ones are his.
Sure. So what we have here, next to Eos on the wall, are several arrows. Again, there's two. On the side pointing to the west, you have one that is pointing up and one that's pointing down. On the side that's pointing north, you just have one pointing up. And then across the wall to where Dash is, there's just one pointing... there's two that's up and down as well.
So if I were to go straight up from here, this one just points up, is it?
Yeah. Eos would see that, but yes.
Yeah.
If she's sharing that information, then you would know it too. Yeah.
Eos know that Roy is extremely confused. Let's put it that way.
I see gears
not
turning, and that
deceiving.
makes me happy. So don't worry about it. You just came back from a trip, and it was a long flight. You are okay. You should not even technically be here. You should be asleep. So you're okay.
No.
What are you, Richard?
No. I'm excited to play a game that just came out. That's what I was saying.
I'm trying. Shit. Sorry. Go ahead.
So are we going this way? Then following the up arrows?
Yes, we'll follow one of them for sure.
Where do you want
May I
to go?
suggest
though?
something? We came from up, right?
You came from south.
So,
We came from down.
no, what I'm saying is we came from the surface, and it's clearly
Oh.
a cave. So maybe what we're looking for is further down? Question mark.
It wasn't asked, but because Hatsu said it, I will put it out there as well. There is a decline here. You are heading lower. This is not something that's a flat surface to where you came in. It's not like a fucking straight slide, super happy fun slide straight down kind of vibe, but you are definitely, you can feel that you're at some kind of steady decline. Yeah.
So up is down?
Up is down in this case, yes.
We made it this far. If it is not Dagthorn or whatever the town is called we want to go to, then further into the depths is where we will find our whatever it is we're looking for.
So maybe the up is for coming backwards, you're going up, but up when you're going forwards is going down.
Yes,
We're
keep
not
going
dancing on the
forwards.
ceiling, Dash. We're not dancing on the ceiling tonight, Dash.
Okay. I'm going this way.
Dash, roll a perception check.
Sure, that's not concerning at all that I'm the one doing that. Because I see everything.
14?
That is a 14.
Nothing seems out of the ordinary here.
Hey guys,
What did
everything
you
looks fine
start
here.
for?
Well, because
Keep
you
going,
guys have better eyesight than me. I have to rely on these glasses. You guys can see better.
At least you've glasses.
Well, then, why are you
Chicken.
leading?
Psst, psst, chicken.
Oh, because you guys were stuck in analysis paralysis. I just wanted to go.
I am not paralyzed.
Paralysis?
Words are difficult.
That's who
Is
you
this-
call chicken and it follows you.
Is this a cave in here, DM?
So, there's a few things going on here. Where Dash would be standing at the moment, for anyone who can see him, there is a very tight space that could be crawled through potentially by smaller entities that seems to lead in and have narrow passageways. The other direction, can be like on the northwestern side, can be crawled through by you guys, and they seem to be the only two passageways through.
When you say smaller entities, you talking childlike or smaller?
Childlike or smaller.
So I'd like to change into childlike and go a little bit in there to see what's
Sure.
there.
So I'm going to move you up myself, just
Okay,
because
yeah.
you won't be able to go through the wall as an actor
Yeah.
token. So what
Yeah,
you find
you
is
are-
another narrow cave going to the south, back down. Another tunnel, sorry, excuse me. And to the north seems to be a winding passage that might just be able to fit you through.
I'm going to call back to the guys and explain this is what's ahead and say I could continue this way, but maybe Albie's the best one
You
to go the furthest.
can't see in the dark, am I right?
Yeah, this is what I was just about to say. I can't see where I'm going,
you
so,
can
I
only
know
see
I can
about-
go forward.
I'll give you
couple of
about
feet.
10 foot in front of you and backwards because
Yeah.
this place isn't, like, it's dark, but it's, I would call it dim lighting, not pitch black. There isn't necessarily source of light here, but it's not, there are cave entrances and stuff, so I'll give you
I
a bit of light.
think what I'm going to do is, because I can't see and I'm on my own, I'm going to do minor illusion, and I'm going to do that just to create a small pocket of light to see around me without going anywhere.
Okay. Not sure if I can do something like that, but let's try. I have dancing light, so I'll give you a dancing light. There you go.
Yep.
Oh, that crashed the server. Nope, there you go. Little dancing light. There you go. Yeah, so you have a little source of light. Never seen minor illusion used that way, but I don't see why not. And what else? Sorry, and you're going to send Albie in, was it?
I'm calling back to the guys, to ask if he might be better suited to go on ahead. If it gets smaller, he can go faster and probably see better.
I'll send Albie through. Yeah, probably an extra 20, 30 feet beyond Slate to see what the conditions of the route is.
So what Albie would see is just past Slate, he goes through a little winding corridor and is approached by 4 or 5 different pathways that all seem to branch off in different directions. It just seems to be another set of tunnels up ahead that may or may not even connect to where you are already physically standing.
Same size?
Roughly, yeah.
Having cast minor illusion, I'm going to...
Oh, sorry, same size meaning where you are, not where Slate is right now. It's different to where Slate is. It's wider again where Albie is now. Sorry. Go
Right,
ahead.
got you.
Sorry, Richard, go ahead.
I just want to point out, having tried to cast minor illusion, it didn't help me at all. I can't see because it doesn't create sound, light, or smell. So I tried that. There is an illusion, but it's there in the dark. So we're both in the dark. So
You
then
have
I'm going to
the
shout
illusion
that
of
back to the guys. Yeah. So I'm going to shout that back to the guys and be like, yeah, look, I'm Totally in the dark here. Yeah.
And as that happens, Albie just lands on Slate's head and just kind of gently, like, taps on the top of his head a direction to go to basically lead him out.
No problem.
Back to where we are.
I'll let Slate back out to Eos then. Slate should be able to see a little bit, I think, here. But yeah.
Yeah.
So bird ratatouille.
Perfect, yeah. Ratatouille. Where Dash is, you have a sequence of markings. It literally just has one arrow that points up directly from here. Sorry, that would be the marking. Sorry. I have to remind myself of this. This is complicated.
Which is this one I can't see from here? Is this
so right where that ping is there, that that would be where the marking is that just points forward up, or whichever way you want to look at it.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just kind of shout back to the guy, or not shout, but talk quietly. Are you sure you guys want me leading this way? Someone else want to go in front?
A question, gang, if I may.
Yes.
Who really put these arrows down here? And why?
I'm gonna guess that cult. Or the researchers.
But if it was a cult, and if it was meant to be secret, then why would the writings be on the wall? Is this not a trap?
I have a feeling it's a way for them to find their way around, because this is confusing as hell.
Hatsu points back on the arrows that he did and said, well, I guess that's the safest way to find out.
Heed caution.
Slate, if it helps at all, just as a reminder, there are torches in the backpack. You can use those in Foundry as well. That would give you visual ability.
I have a tinderbox as well if I was really stuck for like incredibly
Tiny
close.
Yeah,
like looking at something at my fingertips or something on the ground or something.
Cool, as long as you're consciously aware, because I know you can't see nearly as far as anyone else. So just as a reminder, because I know we haven't used Foundry super much, you can create light yourself. Yeah.
So the other option, guys, is we can make a whole lot of noise and see if something comes to us, and then deal with that, and then go that way. That's the other way to do this, possibly.
State, that is an awful idea.
Yes, I would
Awfully
be
good
inclined
idea.
to agree with that. Actually, just reminds me I need to put the others down as well.
From experience, the element of surprise does seem to offer a little bit more of an advantage.
And also, if we're making noise for something that resides here, it knows its way around and we don't.
Unless it can read the arrows.
Maybe it made the arrows for itself. Maybe it made the arrows to lead in food.
Well, I'm just saying that if I wanted to guard a treasure or something, I would put arrows up in multiple directions, but only in a code that I could read. So for me, I would use a labyrinth as a good place as any to hide something valuable, but I wouldn't make it super obvious how to get there.
Think there's something valuable hidden down here?
Hatsu, did you leave the backpack at the camp, or do you still have it with you?
Which one you mean?
The one with the bar of soap.
It's here.
Ooh.
Dash, I'll get a perception check from you.
Yeah, I thought that was
You're
going to
actually thinking about having a bath here, right?
Well, dash around, yeah. I smell. I reek. It's been days.
That is 18.
Okay. There are two sets of markings that are clearly divided. One on your northwest and one on your northeast. The one to the northwest has an arrow pointing up, but only about half of it, whereas the other ones were quite long. This is about half that size. On the other side is an arrow pointing up as well, but twice the length of the one on the left.
I point that out to the party. Is anyone making any sense of these?
Twice the length is either speed or distance.
I was thinking distance too.
Thinking distance or size. That way for smaller folk, this way for larger folk. A la that tunnel that Slate went through.
Is the tunnel with the arrow twice as long, twice as high?
The one that Dash is going to is just appears to be a normal tunnel. It does get a little wider outside, though.
I'm just gonna take a shot on this way. Anyone want to come with me? I don't like that I'm still up front here.
Yes,
So
we're coming.
down.
Or you guys could speed up.
I only have little legs, Dash.
Just
I
come
could
with
walk
me.
alongside you, but I much prefer you in front.
Some
Plus,
of
I
us
can't
aren't
see
in.
shit.
Dash, there is an exceptional amount going on in front of you. So ahead of you, you have one walkway on the right, and on the left there's a second one, and then hard left is also another tunnel that leads down there. The two walkways in front of you seem to be short, so they wouldn't be much use to you.
Eos
one-
at this point will be actively checking with height and look at the ground in case there's any obvious signs of larger creatures.
Okay. I'll get a survival check from you, Eos. Dash, where you're walking there is an arrow, but it points, it's about a halfway up, and it has a circle around the top. Yes, you
Halfway
don't
up,
notice any
circle.
tracks with a 6.
Correct.
Just saying the 6 for the podcast. I'm not saying a 6 is too low for you to notice. I just meant for the podcast it's too low.
So bad.
Am I noticing, like, just at this point, as I'm moving, I'm going to be checking for traps, etc. as well, as things are getting a bit tasty.
Yep.
It's spicy.
Yeah. Looks like we're going up. So, yeah, I'm just going to check. Down here, does this look like this just circles around from where we were?
Yeah.
Okay, so that was a shorter way through, so okay, that makes sense for the shorter arrow. Are we just following this path, guys?
Yes, keep going.
Seemingly,
Alright.
as long as you're alive, it's okay.
Chicken.
Chicken's still following, just a little slower.
Katsu, have you ever been
Still
in such a cave?
Keeping an eye for traps, etc.
Oh, yes.
Okay, what do I see there? That looks like
So
Wait.
as you look through this
a hot tub.
small walkway, it does actually seem to be a large body of water in there, yeah.
That's my
Can
thought.
I fit through that walkway?
No.
Even if I turn like sideways and suck my tummy in?
Especially when you turn you sideways and suck your tummy in.
Am I able to fit if I'm still in the same size and shape as I was as the small
Absolutely.
child that I can become?
Wait, Slate, hold on. Take these. I'm gonna give him my glasses. Someone keep an eye on me.
So to make this a little bit quicker for you, because I'm noticing the time, we're due a little break here. So you crawl through and then you suddenly stop as you see a drop. There's a body of water below you about 30 feet down, possibly more. And it spans out. There seems to be an entranceway far across the water body here. I'm going to call it a lake, but it's just a body of water. But this lake system here that you have here, there's a tunnel in front of you, and then on the right-hand side seems to be a pathway that has led down there from somewhere nearby you guys.
So, just to check, if you get me, if I come out at this height and there's a 30-foot drop, then there's a big lake, a destination on the far side, but if I look to my right, then there's some kind of a pathway.
Yeah, basically
Yeah.
what you can see on screen, but yeah, just for the podcast
Yeah,
systems,
perfect.
that's what you're saying.
That's perfect. So, I'm just going to explain that to the guys, that there seems to be a path somewhere to our right. So if we backtrack a little and try and continue curving left at any opportunity until we find where that meets, we're somewhat close, and explain about the body of water and the doorway or whatever it is across.
DM, can I get a heat
Okay.
check?
Back around.
It's certainly getting warmer, yeah.
Gotcha.
Especially closer to the water, you can feel a large warmth. Slate, I'll also say you do see a heavy mist rising and covering that body of water as well. It's not very clearly visible. That mist is just coming from it. It's not bubbling or anything, so it's not like boiling water, but there is definitely a mist coming from it of some kind, yeah.
Perfect. I'll give those goggles back to Dash, and I'll just continue staying with him, going where he's going, and using him to guide me.
No worries. Dash is quite actively making his way back further down.
And I'm just following him because we're going together. So.
Ian loves a good puzzle, so he's just. You can squeeze through here if you'd want to, Dash. Would you like to try?
Yes.
Oops. I bet. There you go. And there you go.
Oh, it's tight. Oh, good thing I didn't wear the belt. Okay, so again, just keeping an eye for any traps or markings.
As you approach this upper part here, you can sort of hear a body of water below you, Dash. As you walk down, you start to see this body of water that Slate had described, which is now steaming.
Steaming? Oh, nice. Hey, Eos, found your sauna.
I'm on the way.
It's okay. So as you reach the water,
You're really going to do that to Eos?
Yeah, I'm going to say that you all just see the body of water to make this quicker, because Rory's like the other side of the map running back down. So, I'll say that you all just see the body of water in the cave. What I'll do is... Oh, go ahead.
Would you keep an eye on my stuff for 2-3 minutes?
It's a quick bath, but yes.
So they really want you. You really want that they catch you butt naked, right?
They can look if they want, I don't care, but I'm reeking.
Yeah, but normally you do that after the job is done, not in between.
Well, we're all different, Hatsu. She wants to clean herself up now. Why not? Would you like some privacy, Eos?
No, I'll listen to Hatsu here. Hatsu's right.
I mean, you can always wet a cloth and just, get the vital bits.
Just before you touch the water, creatures live in the water, and we know there's something down here, so it could be in the water just before you do that.
It's in the wall.
I mean, by all means, put your hand in, touch the water, or jump in, but just think about it first. That's all I'm saying.
There is smoke on the water.
Hatsu earlier if he has been in caves before, and he's right. I'll wait. You'll have to deal with Stinky Eos, though.
While we all deal with Stinky Eos, we're going to take a little break. And I'll bring up a whole new map for you as we come back.
Why?
That's not ominous at all. I'm looking forward to it.
The death map.
But for now, I would like to, first of all, say thank you to On Your End and everything, who has given us an incredible amount of gifted subs. Thank you so much. You came back in and just gave 5 gifted subs straight away. We love you. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. And I know you said you don't want or necessarily credit for it, but suck it up. You're getting credit for it. Thank you so much.
You deserve it. Well, does my rocking out thing work? It does.
It definitely does. For podcast listeners, Kian has disappeared into a rave for some kind of webcam magic. We will take a quick break.
Rave.
So what we'll do is throw up a prediction, of course. Feel free to join the boss battle. We will be doing an easy boss battle, I think.
The last one was easy too.
Last one was normal by accident. I apologize. And this one might be normal by accident. I'm not sure. Let's see. Hopefully it's easy. And we'll be back in 10 minutes then at 10 to 9 our time. We'll be back. And if you have any questions or anything, make sure you put them in chat for our post show as well. We'll put up a little post as well about Movember to understand, for those who were late, why Dash is beardless. Well, Kian is beardless, I should say. But
Dash has always been beardless.
Make sure you show.
Although he's probably been scruffy now that I think about it.
I thought Lissa was his beard. That's weird. All right, so enjoy your break. We'll be back in 10. See you soon. Hey, we are back and ready for action. At least I am. I don't know about you guys. You guys ready? Should I preload this cave for you? I'll do it. I'm sure it'll be fine. There's nothing to worry about.
Ash is going first. What could go wrong?
I would be very surprised if Dash could go first here, but we'll see. But for now, I guess we'll find out. So you find yourselves surrounded. Not surrounded. You find yourselves facing a large body of water. There is drips and drops into the water as stone and pebbles just fall from the top of the cave. Not a single wave, just the occasional splash. What do you guys want to do?
I'm going to repeat what I did earlier with Madriana, pick up a stone and skip it.
Okay. Yeah, nothing could go wrong.
Yeah.
Sure, we've seen Lord of the Rings.
Literally 2 minutes ago, somebody suggested, let's make some noise and let's see if it comes out. And you're like, no, let's be quiet. Skip.
Yeah, but this is a plop in the water.
With a 10, you get like 2 or 3 skims. You get an average amount of skims. So I'll give you 1 to 2 skims. That's what I'll give you.
That's average?
That's average, yeah. That's the... You get no skims. How's that? You sassed me, you get no skims. You get like 1 to 2 skims as it goes into the water.
I'd like to do something, DM.
Push dash in, sure.
No, not yet. Eos is going to go to the edge of the water.
Okay.
She's going to do a prayer to Minerva while washing her face with the water.
Okay.
What kind of check would you like for that?
A religion, I suppose. You could just do that. You don't necessarily need a check for that because you're praying and washing your face, but you can make a religion check if you want to add to it. You can, sure.
That is what I shall do with a, for the podcast people, an 18.
Very religious.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
And just also, she'll be doing the prayer in Seraphic.
Holy shit, sorry. She'll be in Seraphic as well. Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah. That is what I shall do.
Perfect.
Other than what Eos is creating, is there any other ripples?
Just the occasional from like a bit of rock falling in or whatever, but realistically the water is as smooth as it could be. There's no air on it. There's no massive disturbance. The biggest disturbance came from Eos honestly digging hands and getting the water out and washing her face, and that rippled out pretty far before it dissipated. So this body of water is very serene.
No, like, crocodile eyes, like, out of the water kind of thing?
Make an investigation check.
Is there a ticking of a stopwatch?
Snape, Severus Snape.
Why did you go to that? That was a weird one.
At the end, they have the ticking, and then there's...
yes.
Ryan knew where I was going with that.
Don't worry about it.
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I know, Peter Pan, but I was just wondering. I just went to that one. Leave me alone.
Smitty, stop me. Stop me, Smitty.
You get 10? No crocodile eyes and no ticking.
If anyone's good with puppets and they could just reenact this for us, that'd be great.
That would be great, actually. I would love that.
I'm going to send Albie for a 10 foot above the water wander over everywhere and just to see what he can see.
He sees much of what you did. As he flies out about 100 feet, he sees a large body of water with 2 sections of interest. To the north is some sort of flat land, which would produce more caves and more pathing. And to the sort of west-southwest, I guess here, is another pathway that leads out, but with water trickling inward.
Okay, so that's inlet. Okay.
And there would be motion from there and waves from there, but it's like very minimal. The water like when I say trickle, I mean trickle. It's not pouring in. Like,
is the water warm? Yes.
I'm gonna do a perception for that one to actually perceive the exact temperature.
You don't need to. No, it's pretty warm. Like it's a decent bath warm, but not scalding, so your skin burns off you like some baths.
If I wasn't scared of what's in the water, I'd be in it.
Can you see? Stick your head in and see what's in there.
No.
Fine, I'll do it.
All right.
Just put my head in and just kind of break the surface of the water.
I don't know that Dash is incredible at swimming, but I would say pretty normal. He has swimming experience throughout his backstory.
He goes beach.
Does he beach? He does beach?
He beaches. Yeah. He does beach.
He do beach. Well, I can't remember.
I do beach.
Yeah, I do beach.
I do beach. I think it was,
yeah.
Life is beach.
Life is beach.
Life is beach.
I'll give you a straight roll. I won't give you disadvantage, and I won't give you advantage. I'll give you a straight roll on this.
For perception or investigation?
Yeah, both, either, whichever.
I think I'll take the one I'm a bit better at.
Makes sense.
11. As it turns out, not
Dash,
great at dating.
You forgot to take off your sunglasses, which made it a lot more difficult for you to see. Whilst they do help you see in the dark, which would be advantageous, they don't work so well underwater.
That's what I was thinking. I thought it was going to be dark under there, but kept them on.
They begin to slip off your face.
Well, grab them and take my head back out.
I expected that. Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, you take your glasses and you get back out. He comes out of the water with bright yellow sunglasses, as always, in the pitch.
What's in there?
No, there's nothing. Seems clear.
How high is the roof?
Going in towards the center, it looks more like a dome, so it goes higher and higher, but the peak of it would be probably about 150 feet up, and where you guys are is closer to 30, so it's a pretty steep incline going upward.
And what about where the other path is to the north?
Goes back down to roughly the same as what you have now.
And do anyone want to come for a ride?
I'm sure
Not
I don't know
that
what you
kind of
mean.
ride.
Yeah.
Dash.
Dash, you put your hand down.
Give me your hands. And as he gives me his hands, I will pull out the wings.
Uppies.
And uppies, fucking hell.
That's Kian, not Dash, sorry.
Yeah. Even then, though, like, the idea that she's just, like, putting her arms around you to, like, hold you in, she's just kind of like, and yeah, I'm basically going to fly us over. I'm going to take the curvature of the dome and go up about 40 feet above the water.
I'm going to count this as drag weight, so the same as you would when you're walking, so you move at half speed while you're dragging him.
That's fine.
I think that's kind of a fair way of approaching carrying people, because it's dragging upward, right? So
yeah.
Dash will flap slightly just to try and help.
Perfect.
Stop doing that, you're not helping.
You,
right.
Since you're being held with your hands, as you start flapping, she probably lets you go. There are two pathways that become evident. One to sort of the right-hand side, but it doesn't seem to lead anywhere. So that would be to your east. And the one to your north seems to lead up and around. But there is a place to land on either of them, whichever you prefer.
Let me go to the closed off one first. See if it's a case of evidence. I don't want to say loot, but like, is this like a storage place for something?
This one looks more man-made than the other tunnels would. It looks like somebody was trying to dig through these tunnels. And this is the first time you're seeing signs of people actively digging here rather than it being passively created landscape, right?
Right.
How did Dash take damage?
At one point, that was from Lissa slapping me when Slate woke her up.
Oh, it just said a second ago that Dash took 0 damage, but that's okay.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Landed awkwardly, I guess.
You landed, but your ankle did that weird thing, and so like you just
I hate that.
It didn't hurt, but it was just uncomfortable.
Like when you step off a curb, like, ugh.
Yeah, and you fall way further than you should when that happens to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you walk flat-footed.
That's how I was made.
Do you see anything in here?
Do I see anything in here?
Make I would say investigation if you're actively looking for something.
I'd be helping.
Sure, then he can have advantage. You said that before the roll ended, so I'll let you have your second roll there, Dash.
Much better. 16.
16. As you look around in here, you can see that someone was trying to dig through here, but reached a certain point and sort of just, it seems like they just stopped. It seems like they were looking for something specific or set and did not necessarily find whatever it was and possibly went somewhere else. But again, what comes from this is mostly the signs of life, which are indicated by this.
Do we have any indication of age of these markings of the digging?
I don't know if either of you have any kind of background or history in stoneworking, the way, say, for example, a dwarf might, where there are these skills for such things. I'm not sure if either of you have that, so I wouldn't know. But if you're proficient in history, either of you, I would allow that. But
Strangely enough, I am.
You are? Then you may make a history check if Dash is asking that out loud.
I am asking that out loud.
I am quite knowledgeable, surprisingly.
Why would Dash keeps taking
Doesn't
0
surprise me
damage?
at all.
11.
11? You're not sure
Sometimes
about
I
the
believe it
age,
all.
but it's a little bit older than you would have thought. It's not like... It's not something that's been created in the last, 50 years. It's definitely not something that's been created in the last, handful, in your lifetime. It's something older than you. But definitely not even within the 50 years. You would probably attribute this to some of the older buildings in Verduar that may have underground tunnels and stuff, where this is an archaic method of tunneling, not so much the newer versions, which are a little bit easier.
Right.
Dash, what I
Question,
will also just add, because just before we go too far from it, just on that investigation, you also find on the wall towards the end of this sort of tunneling system is etched in a rather large X, similar or akin to the arrows that you were following earlier. It seems to be a marking.
Okay, I'll point that out. So obviously they came this far and thought nothing of note here. So the arrows are indicating, I assume, a path towards some sort of mining.
And this is a dead end.
Yeah. Question, the stone itself, is it just basalt, volcanic stone? Is it anything of value, I suppose?
I wouldn't even go so far as to say it's basalt yet. We wouldn't be that close to the volcano itself. This is you're still quite far out. If anything, you're under the first, possibly second mountain towards the volcano, of which there are dozens between you and there. Don't forget, you guys haven't walked a super distance to be dealing with volcanic activity. It's very perplexing and unusual to see anything akin to the volcano this far away from the volcano.
But the stone that's dug up here, it's not,
It
there's no signs of gold or anything that would have been mined.
Sorry, no. This isn't a dwarven mine situation like the Mines of Moria or something. This isn't that, and they have not found the Arkenstone, but perhaps they're looking for it.
Okay.
Can I recall when I found that couple through Elby that were in that dead end? Was there one of these X's on the wall there?
I'll be with the dead end.
Remember you said when I was using LB, when I was holding Eos's hand and we were doing directions, I went down one and it was a dead end and there was a couple of bodies there that were...
No, there wouldn't have been a marking there, but again, I think you asked at the time, and I'll just remind you that you did... this didn't look as man-made. This looked more natural, that area. Yeah.
But I didn't know whether it had been marked off or not. Okay, cool.
Yeah, no necessarily marking.
Right, I grab Dash and I take him to the next platform.
Whoa!
Don't pretend you didn't like it.
The flying is fun, but I just wasn't looking.
Are you ever?
You land down by the next section and you find more petrified bodies. And you also find remnants of crates and other sort of structures. But again, the first time you're finding remnants of life, signs of life.
Check for loot.
Sure. There'd be nothing of use or value as you rummage through pockets, and not necessarily pockets, that's probably the wrong choice of words. as you rummage through the crates that are still kind of active there, but the petrification, those people, nothing of value on them physically that you can see.
Can I make out what the crates would have been transporting?
Something large, like the insides of the crates, even though they're worn away, have supports that would indicate that there were large things being held in there that had to be held safely.
So, clearly they were looking for or found something of significant size. And I'm assuming that's why they had that hidden entrance, that they could get it in or out of. Do you think they had some sort of, I don't know, clockwork drilling machine that they had to get in here?
I don't think so.
I mean, we're close enough to Decker's thing. Who knows what they're up to?
I wouldn't go any further. We need to decide, do we go back and get the others? I mean, it's going to take me a while and be a little bit exhausting, but I can bring them across, I believe. But the problem is, if we need to get out of here, it's either a quick swim or not.
Should we see what we're facing down here before we decide to bring the party across? It looks like there's some sort of light source.
I don't believe it's a good idea for us to go alone.
I hate when you're right.
Shall I go get him?
Yeah, I do. I'll wait here.
So I guess I'll spend the next hour, or half hour, whatever it may be, to essentially ferry them over.
Yeah. I want an active perception check from you, Madriana, and I'll give you advantage because Albie would be accompanying you.
That would be a 23.
You bring... I'm not sure if the order matters, but we'll just say you bring Eos across. You bring Slate.
I'd be going for the lightest first. Not to be funny, but just...
Lissa, you bring Ayami. Chicken doesn't really need help. Chicken is already with Dash.
Hey, Chicken.
You bring Hatsu across.
While we're waiting.
No worries. You bring Hatsu across and something catches your eye beneath the water. The silhouette or shape of something. Something of just insurmountable magnitude. Larger than Decker's ship. You land safely with Hatsu.
Before I move all the way across, first of all, as she's carrying Hatsu, she's going to tap on his armor in the way of which she does where she talks to certain people.
Mm-hmm.
And to see whether, one, he acknowledges. If he doesn't acknowledge, then she will gently whisper to him to have a look.
Okay, Hatsu, you see this silhouette, this shape as well.
Well, what was that?
I'm guessing it was a big ass fish. I'm just saying, I don't think swimming back is going to be an option.
Well, by the looks of it, moving forward isn't an option either.
There is a path forward, but we'll investigate that first.
Hatsu wouldn't stop, looking back to see if the thing is coming towards them.
It doesn't seem to necessarily be moving at all. You only catch a glimpse of this silhouette somewhere far, far below the water. But it would indicate that the threshold and depth of this lake is far superior than you would have initially suspected, given the overall radius of it around, right? The circumference doesn't suggest that it goes as deep as it does, but the height of the cave might suggest that it also goes much deeper than you would think.
Is this conversation being had on the shoreline now that we're all across, or is this being had in the air between Hatsu and Amadriana?
Initially between Amadriana and Hatsu in the air, I would say, but if they wish to continue it when they land, I will leave up to them.
We probably would be finishing, or at least like getting towards the end of the conversation as we land, for sure. I mean, I'm not being particularly quiet about it, but also I'm not speaking loudly because of our very situation. We might want to be careful of the water, everyone. It seems that there's either something humongous but far away, or small and close, but even then it'd still be massive compared to us.
Amadriana, was the silhouette that you saw moving?
No.
Because big creature in sunken ship, who's to know the difference? Or something equivalent. If it's moving, it's alive, but if it's not, it could just be the outline of something. Something worth investigating.
We would have needed something to transport these big crates.
But you said there was nothing in the water, Dash.
No, I said I didn't see anything in the water. Big difference.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
I'm not particularly fond of swimming.
Really?
If one of you would like to take the plunge, then please feel free.
I haven't swam in a while.
Sure, I need a bath.
Well, yeah, so we go for a swim.
If you're going in, I'll go with you. The two of them. So the three of us.
Is there like, can we just wade in, or do we have to like jump off a cliff?
No, you can just wade in.
The shore is right there, Dash. Why?
I'm asking the voice in the sky, yes.
Oh.
Just so I know there's a shore there.
You can definitely just wade in. I wouldn't worry too much about that.
Don't like the way you said it, wouldn't worry about that.
You just look it down to her undergarments effectively and doop, doop, doop.
Likewise.
It is that warm.
Dash is getting the abs out again.
Seeing as I can change my appearance and I can change everything about it, can I give myself webbed feet and hands, add skin there for more attraction for swimming?
I think it would be more aesthetic than mechanical in D&D terms, but I would say you could do that for sure. Yeah, I don't know if it would necessarily give you anything in the ways of swim speed. I'm not sure. I think you don't gain the attributes of the thing you clone, right? So that's part of the mechanical side of D&D, so it won't give you, a physical edge, but in a more aesthetic way or in a more like flourishy way, I think it would give you something. Yeah, I'd say your movement in the water is more elegant, if that helps. Yeah,
you'd alter yourself for the
physical attributes. Yeah,
physical attributes.
Yeah. Just to check with you, Opa, this is something we discussed, but I can't remember if it was on stream or whether it was off stream. So if it was off stream, I want to make sure it's there for stream. But I'd said about making sure I had spell components before we left. That was something I was going to see Remington about.
I don't remember if we did it or not. Again, I'm actually with you. I don't know if it was on or off stream, but you did say that that's something you would like to do at some point. So yeah.
Yeah. So with that in mind, while they're kind of getting off their armors and all that kind of stuff, Magiana draws her circle on the floor as she does, and sitting there with Elby sat in front of her, she'll start to ritually cast this spell that she's learned and managed, and this is what brought the form of Elby to her. And as she starts getting towards the end of it, Elby starts flickering, kind of form shifting, almost like we see how Slate does, but a lot more jagged, and it's more Magiana's inexperienced than the transformation not working correctly. And one of his wings turns into a tentacle, and then one of the legs does, and he kind of flops over, and it's starting to like not be able to keep itself upright. And then eventually, over this period of time, Elby now has become this beautiful white with crystalline, almost like golden rings around its body. as he has now become an octopus.
Nice. As the albino octopod appears,
Octopi?
I'm gonna make it do just something because this is just for me. It lashes on and grabs Dash's leg and just sticks to it and holds on tight for just a moment.
For the record, I'm not taking off my armor and stuff because it's light, so I'm not taking it off.
Okay. Eos, you are unarmored though, so just keep that in mind for your AC.
Likewise for Dash, I'll actually I'll remove mine just for...
Okay. Your AC is whatever it is in an unarmored state, which I believe in D&D is a flat 10, but I could be wrong.
Find out in a second. But yeah, I just kind of also wince as Albie clings to my leg. I'm like expecting it to be disgusting, and I'm like, it's like a weird squelchy calf massage. It's...
Flat 10 plus your dex is your AC.
And then Albie works his way very quickly up Dash's back and basically essentially sits on his back like a backpack.
It's actually...
I'm gonna add to that.
Kind of nice.
Almost like got those the suction cup that some people do on their back and stuff. It has that vibe going on.
So it's like it's like a massage where you're kind of, I know this does kind of feel like you're kind of getting pounded a little bit on the back with a fist, and then it's just kind of releases the muscles a bit.
As you're walking in, Lissa's just like, please be careful.
Aren't I always?
Eos, please protect him. I will make sure you have a shipment of the finest peppermint tea at the end of all this if you keep him alive.
Okay, fine. Come here, Dash.
I'm good. Appreciate you looking out for me, though.
Eos will flick her finger effectively on Dash's forehead, and she uses protection from evil and good on Dash.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
So I'm going to say yes to all these things. Yes.
What does? Is there like a vocal component to that?
Yeah, but she only has to whisper it. It's not like, you are protected!
Okay, so there's
you
a brief
flick
moment
some
where...
water on him, which I will consider to be holy water, and I'll even go so far as to say it's the water that you prayed on earlier. You kept a little bit of that. The
Dash
spell
looks a bit
consumes it.
sus for a moment, because just like last time you cast a spell on him, he was like bad, so he's just like...
Two things happen to Dash as you cast the spell, one of which you guys see, and one of which he sees. You guys see that his eyes sort of already golden flecked around his pupil while the concentration is on, and the concentration is for Eos obviously, but around his pupil is a golden cog moving just slowly around both of the pupils in his eyes. And Dash, what you see for just a split second is when Eos casts it, you look at her and you see in front of her the visage of Scales, which then reappear as her. The light just, it's almost like the glow from something that she's casting the magic. The glow almost changed your perception of her for a split second and came back to normal. You're not even sure if you really saw it, but something was there.
That made my day, thank you.
I'll never understand magic. All right, here we go. And Dash just kind of...
There's a lot of things he doesn't understand.
I'm going to step in the water behind them, and then once I step in slowly, I'm just going to try and go straight down, making as little disturbance to the water. But what would be left behind on the surface would be all of that ash and crap that I had all over me. I presume a lot of that would be lifted by the warm water and whatever have you.
So I'm sure that you all have looked into your new hazards, such as suffocation. So you know the rules, I'm sure.
Why are you saying this?
But just in case, you can hold your breath for a number of minutes equal to 1 plus your constitution modifier, minimum of 30 seconds, before suffocation begins. When a creature runs out of breath or it's choking, it gains 1 exhaustion level at the end of each of its turns. When a creature can breathe again, it removes all levels of exhaustion it gained from suffocation. This is the 2024 rulebook version of suffocation.
That's actually, yeah, I didn't look into it, obviously, but that is actually very cool.
That's badass.
It's pretty good. And what I'll get you to do is to tell me how many minutes each of you has. Those of you who are going underneath. You have 4 minutes, Slate. Okay. Eos, 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Is there
She's, yeah, she's just getting me on the surface. She's concentrating on that, but she's getting me on the surface. Just
sure.
Just snorkeling.
She's bathing in the water.
I have 3 minutes.
You have 3 minutes.
So yeah, so I'd just kind of, I wouldn't even dip in for that. I'd go in for a minute, see what I can see, and then come back out. Come back up, rather.
Before you do that, let's slowly discuss what's happening and take our characters through what they see, shall we?
Oh no.
Under the water, it's very difficult to see. It's very foggy. Eos, you see the shadows and silhouettes of what was described to you. But you need to go back for air because this is way out of your depth. Where you grew up is surrounded by water, but you didn't get much time to practice swimming. So,
I think our dark vision doesn't help here at all either, does it?
not super amounts because of the fog as well, but it does give you some advantages.
Okay.
Dash. You see the silhouette becoming clearer of something large and sort of hard to pinpoint the exact constitution of it as it's down there beneath the depths. And as it's about to become clear, you feel a tentacle on you as Albie is grabbing onto your head. With that, you begin to go up, but Slate, even though it's technically not as your new form, will attribute it to your new form. You have the breathing capacity of someone who is a mighty swimmer. What you see is something strange. At first you would describe it as gelatinous, formless, but that would be inaccurate because it does have a form. It just looks like something that would be the great, great, great ancestor of the form Albie has currently taken. Unfortunately for you, it does not appear to be awake at this time. But I can change that if you'd like.
Having gone into the water with the expectation that it's either something moving and alive or something like a ship, having deciphered that it is what it is, I will slowly and carefully turn around, not panic, and calmly not disturb the water and just swim upwards diagonally so it's away and up, slow and steady, not disturbing the water as much as possible, slow and steady, internally panicking like crazy.
What I will give to the Inspector Slate is one more little tidbit of information. Clearly they had tried to use a boat before because the remnants lay on the bottom of this water. And whatever contents were there and whatever passengers were there are long, long gone. Make a stealth check for me.
Eight.
Okay. It's not as bad as you would think. In fact, it's good news as far as I'm concerned, because you no longer have to look at the creature as a large, dark cloud emerges from underneath it, absorbing him. What action could I interest you in, Slate?
Did you say something absolved the octopus?
A large dark cloud. Yeah.
It inked.
Yeah, either inked or something bigger was actually underneath it. This could be one of them like fish that makes it look like it's got like a different creature, and then it just.
There's always a bigger fish. Oh Lord!
I think. I think swimming in the direction that I am, I would just aim to pick up the pace and just absolutely book it to get out of the water as quickly as I can. So from going slow and steady, I'm just going to motor as fast as I can. Double movement. I don't want to say the word dash. So
you double movement dash your way out. You reach the surface and you see Eos and Dash swimming there as the water around you all begins to turn black.
Did you pee, Slate?
Yeah, why don't make so much noise. Don't awake anything.
Did you pee, Slate?
I'm just going to continuously, so I'm not going to get to the top and then stop. I'm just going to be water splashing everywhere like a shark attack, swimming as fast as I can. And all you're going to hear is something like octopus, squid, kraken, giant crab. I don't know what it is. Go, 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 go.
It's Albie.
It's Albie.
Say it has crabs.
Albie's not a crab. What's he on about? Anyway, that was
I would
nice
love
swim.
to say you see something moving beneath you, but Eos and Dash, you certainly don't.
Yeah, I don't like that I'm that close to the shore now.
If you're
I guess
speaking, Ryan, you're on mute.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry, go.
As we hear Slate saying that, as he splashes and trying to get out, Madriana immediately grabs Lissa's arm, doesn't even ask, just grabs her arm as her eyes go like that blue flash again, and Albie like slivers off of Dash's body and slinks into the water. And essentially what I want to do is I want to, as inconspicuously as possible for Albie, I want to try and slink him down and see whether he can see what this creature is in the water. Like actually see what it is.
Yeah, as Albie moves inconspicuously through the water.
Yeah.
Through the ink. You may... Don't look at me with disappointment. Don't look at me in that tone of voice, Rory. As Albie moves through the water.
Just before you go any further, for no particular reason, I'm just putting my armor back on.
Because on the shoreline, putting your armor back on?
Yeah.
No worries.
Bathing.
If I get to the shoreline, I'm continuing. I'm not standing on it.
Slate, your skin, what you can see of it because you had your armor on, would be black, and your armor would be black. Dash, any skin component of you would be black. Eos, any skin component of you submerged in water would also be black. And Madriana, Albie.
The water was filthy.
The once albino, now ebony Albie moves through the water.
Ebony.
I would like a
Ivory and ebony.
I would like a it's going to be investigation for me, and I'm going to give you, because it's an octopus, I won't give you disadvantage. I don't know that they necessarily can see an ink, but I feel just the similarity might give some sort of bonus, and I don't want to like not reward the choice to switch Albie. But I won't give you advantage either, so you have a straight roll.
Okay, looking at this and like properly, like now that I had a second to do it, it seems I should be using the octopus
I'm sorry.
sheet.
Yeah, I'll get that for you.
So, thank you. Just because I want to be obviously fair and have the right rolls and stuff.
Right. Yeah. Octopus, not giant octopus, just regular. And I'll just say polymorph for now.
He's big to me.
Yeah. I need to get like albino tokens for albino.
The octopus version is particularly nice because he's white, but he has like gold rings on him.
Gold rings, yeah, I like that design.
Got it.
Like the future armor for Tony Stark, like that gold kind of, the white and gold, the very white armor, but with the gold on it. Yeah, you should have the sheet, so go ahead.
Was it perception, wasn't it?
Perception check. Yeah, just a straight roll.
Oof, not good. 9.
9. Very difficult to see, which, makes sense. The water is basically black. But Albie does get a sensation of something moving around it. Octopuses have a very good sense of movement. So it would pick up on that. Albie, however, on its way out, I would say, uses its natural state of camouflage, which comes with the octopus, to blend into the ink and isn't spotted by the absolutely gargantuan creature moving through the water.
Okay. Yeah, bring him out then, and it's slithers up onto the side, and I obviously let go of Alyssa. I'm not sure exactly what that was, but it was rather big. Let's not do that, eh?
The only you got a look of it through Albie, as in the way you would, like, if you see a movie and suddenly a whale moves past and you see the torso of the whale, almost not the whole body, but like the skin in front of you, and you know it's something big. The only person I would say that got a clear look at this thing was Slate pre ink.
Slate, you have your thing, your image creator. What did it look like?
I'm still walking away from the shoreline, and I just do like this above my head and create this, like, if I've ever heard of, read about mythological, like, kraken, but with exaggerated stuff on it that doesn't exist. Spikes, flames, all sorts of shit. I'm just like, this is horrendous. But just a giant, tentacly monster thing. It's huge. I just keep walking.
Hell yeah.
How does something have flames underwater? Magic is weird.
And I'm just going to say, it's some kind of kraken creature. I don't know what it is. It's awake. It's moving. Let's go this way now.
Any of you proficient in history can make a check if you'd like.
What do you mean it's cracking?
Of a flaming kraken? No, I have no idea what a flaming kraken is. With a 7.
I'm proficient in history, and also I've seen it. Does that help me in any way to...
Proficiency is just a proficiency, but I'll give you the clear look. Yeah, I'll give you advantage on the clear look. Yeah, that makes sense.
I'll leave it a situational bonus if you want. That way it's not as good.
Mm-hmm.
Whichever you prefer.
No, I'll give you advantage. I think that's fine, because, yeah.
Appreciate it. Oh, just as well, 2 5s, 8.
Okay. You guys have no idea what this is, but sure, myths of kraken and stuff aren't unusual. Again, children's stories, but the closest possible entity that'll do.
In fairness, the visual I was given was probably massively wrong.
Yeah.
So, onwards?
Yes.
Back on the shore in a disappointed state, Eos.
Dirtier than when she went in.
Yeah. She breaks the concentration for the thing that will be.
The moving cogs in Dash's eyes goes away.
And I will do that from here. Perfect.
Albie latches on to Madriana, same as he did with Dash, in that, a couple of tentacles over the top of the shoulders, a couple around the ribs kind of thing. And then because of the camouflaging that they can do, just kind of blends colour into her clothing so that he looks like he's just part of the outerwear.
Sure. You push on further into the tunnels. And further. And further.
At least I don't smell anymore.
The black suits you.
I wouldn't say you don't smell. You smell different now.
I'm trying not to. I usually bathe twice a day.
Nice.
Yeah.
Eos, you took the soap, did you not?
It's not going to be good for your skin.
She did.
Okay. Did she use it?
Oh, she's going to use it now.
She's going to use it now. Hatsu, can you
Gonna find
send
some water and
soap
just-
to her if you haven't already?
Scrub.
Mm-hmm.
That's a magic soap.
Obviously, being quite aware that the soap bar has to, as for everyone, she's gonna be careful.
I'll go one step further, and I'll put inspiration on the line for Ryan. If you can tell me what magic soap it is. Because you should know.
Well, I don't think it's a soap. I think it's a cleansing stone.
That's my boy. If you have inspiration already, you can give it to someone who doesn't. If everyone has inspiration, I'll give you a +5 on your next roll.
Okay, perfect. I'll take the +5 then, as I believe we all do.
Saving it in case we have to fight large tentacle monsters.
And this cleaning soap is very, very cool.
So I'm going to remove the soap from you, Eos, and I will instead add a cleansing stone to you.
Oh, you scared me.
It looks like an ornate stone rather than a soap, but as you... things have changed, so I don't know how to unveil what it is. Identify, there we go. Oh, sick. It becomes a cleansing stone. You basically, when you use this device, it is engraved with magic sigils. When you touch the stone, you can use an action to activate it and remove dirt and grime from any garments or your person.
Eos is gonna treat this in a very specific way. She's gonna hold it up.
Okay.
No. And she's going to look at it.
I'm clean.
And when she looks at it, little stars gleam in the reflection in her eyes. And she thanks it with all, like, her most, what's the correct wording for when you're very thankful? Gratitude towards it. And she says thank you to the stone for cleaning her. The reason for that is Zeus is a very clean person. She's quite upset not having washed herself for how many days it's been.
Sure. Absolutely.
That's it. Yeah.
Eos is cleaner than she may have ever been.
Ooh. She gives it back to Biz.
You can send it back to Busy if you like.
Yeah. Back to Hatsu.
Sorry to Hatsu.
There we go.
It's like the prized possession of one of our older party members.
It was, right?
Yeah.
He's got the magic rucksack thing.
In a different campaign, we had a player who used it probably more than any item I've ever seen used in D&D. Every session, multiple times a session, for over 100 sessions. It was outstanding.
He literally had a god-given weapon, and he used that stone more than that.
Way more. Because it became, I think the stone made him kind of hypochondriac, but we never approached that subject.
Just touching it off everything, going, you're clean, you're clean.
Yeah,
you're clean.
kind of, yeah. Yeah, with that in mind. The tunnel's go on and on and on.
Guys, we've been going for a while. Should we rest?
I feel great.
All of your camp supplies are still back in the initial cave. So resting is a little bit different here and a little bit more difficult. You have no sleeping bags as far as I know. Maybe you do. But as far as I know, that the initial ones that were given to you are out there. The tents are out there. It's not impossible to rest here, but it's not a good night's sleep either.
We just keep going then?
No. I get cranky when I don't do my meditation.
Yeah, so does Lissa.
You could get away with a short rest here. But it would be a few hours as well. Same rules apply. Short rest in our campaign, we're using the gritty rules, so short rest is 8 and a long rest is a week.
Rest if we need to.
I could do with a snack. How about we sit down for like 30 minutes, have a snack, and keep going?
Eos, any idea with your compass or whatever, how far we might have travelled, so how far we might have left to go?
Yeah, so we'll take out the rapier and she'll dink the compass to make it spin around and
You guys are following the path northward, which would make sense because you were walking through the catacombs and the caverns and the tunnels and across the waters that all lead to Volcanus's crowning jewel. I say that literally because the volcano is called the Molten Crown.
Okay. Does it point like northwest, southwest?
If you guys are following the tunnels directly that you just went through, you're pointing due north.
Gotcha.
Do you know what time? Actually, stupid question. I have a watch. What time is it?
It's a good question. It would be pretty late about now. You guys have been adventuring the entire day.
Oh, we got like 1-2 watches into a rest.
I'd say you completed that rest, though. Like, I think we pretty much got to the point where everyone was getting up anyway when Slate had contacted everyone to say that thing is at the entrance. So I'm pretty sure we're at a point where you've had a significant... We call it a short... It's technically a long rest, but it's technically a short rest, so... Mechanically, it's a short rest, but for us it would be...
But we got a night's sleep.
We got a good night's sleep, yeah. I would say that taking a short rest here... Yeah, exactly. I would say that taking a short rest here, as uncomfortable it is, wouldn't result in exhaustion. It would give you an extra step towards your full long rest, which is what you would want.
Yeah.
Unless you engage in combat or disrupted in some way.
Yeah. So if we stop for an hour, that would kind of complete our
8 hours.
8 hours. Oh, if we stop now for 8 hours, that's a long time to stop here. And
would be fairly tired at this point. Pushing forward could result in points of exhaustion. For those who don't know that... Oh, go ahead, Richard, while I pull it up. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, if we were in a straight tunnel, I would recommend that we stay in a straight tunnel and rest in it, because if 2 are on watch, we put 1 facing each way, and we've less to worry about. It's more straightforward, and everybody else is in the middle. It's easier to look after everybody. You're not going to get lost, ambushed from random directions, etc. It should be easier to hear things, etc.
Sure.
So that's my suggestion if we're going to do that.
So the way it works with exhaustion, because our rules did recently change, so I will go over this with you quite quickly. The condition is cumulative, so each time you receive it, you gain 1 exhaustion level, and you die at exhaustion 6. That doesn't change. That is the same way that exhaustion worked previously. However, when you make a d20 test, so anything that involves you rolling a d20, the roll is reduced by 2 times your exhaustion level. So every time you go up by your level, it's multiplied by 2. So if you get a nat 20, it's just automatically a 10 with 1 point of exhaustion, or 2 times your level. I guess it's a little less, but it goes up and up and up. Your speed is reduced by a number of feet equal to 5 times your exhaustion level. So if you have 1 point of exhaustion, it's 5 feet, 2 points is 10 feet, so on. And then removing exhaustion levels can only happen at the end of a long rest, so it removes 1 of your exhaustion levels. So you gotta be cautious of this, because in our campaign that means you're dealing with longer periods of time where you're trying to catch up to yourself. It'll take time for you to heal and recover. You don't want to cross that path as much as possible, unless you're planning on going back home, in which case you'll have more time to heal and rest. You won't have as much time to rest here, so you'll be dealing with exhaustion for a lot longer, because you're not catching up to yourself. You're not giving yourself that time to do so. Yeah.
On that,
you can do whatever you like, though. Yeah.
On that, just because I'm not sure if this was discussed, I can't remember. As it was, like, obviously, like you said, on long rest, you recover from exhaustion. I would say
in our campaign, I might adjust it so that we recover all exhaustion on a long rest, because given that it's an extended period, we might talk about that. I might need to talk about that with you guys. It's a little bit harsh for you. If you have 5 points of exhaustion to spend 5 weeks recovering, sounds a bit harsh. So I would say probably we would actually adjust that, and
okay, cool.
Yeah, we'll probably do it at the end of a week. We would remove all exhaustion, but the short rests don't lower the exhaustion. That's just all you need to know.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I guess we're gonna have to rest then.
Yeah, we'll have a talk about that off stream. I'd be interested because we're playing gritty rules. Some things have to be adjusted to fit that thematically, and I think that that's one of those things we may need to address. I don't know if that was accounted for. I'm still reading the book, the new book.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that was accounted for, but I will certainly try and address that. If one of you wants to pop that to me in Discord on our main chat, and we can have a talk about that later. That'd be great.
No worries. I'll take first block of watches then. So the first 4 hours of watches, with whoever else wants to take the other end.
I think are we sticking with our watch order for the moment?
I'll go last or second last because I want to sleep first.
Sure.
I'll stay up with Adriana for the first watch then.
Hatsu will do the second part of the watch because he also needs only 4 hours.
That's right.
Just do Hatsu and Eos.
And he would give out a ration for everyone.
Excellent.
Eos will position herself back against the wall of the tunnel, and she's just kind of looking towards the book Hatsu gave her, and that's how she does her trance. So back against wall, so nothing can shank her.
I'm sure Shaq won't shank you. Oh, not Shaq. Sorry, I meant Dash. I was reading the chat. Sorry.
Basketball player arrives.
Yes. Shaquille O'Neal shanks you. Yeah, you. Yeah. I'm gonna get watches for each of you, but this is gonna be a little bit different. Where you are is quite safe. You know that no entities have crossed this path in a long time. It's clear to see the path that you've chosen and everything you've followed. People have been here, things have been here, but not recently. So instead, I'm going to get your perception checks or your investigation checks throughout the night. I would advise perception in this case based on what we're doing. And different information will be given to you throughout the night. The turn order would be Madriana for 2 turns, and if someone else is taking the other 2, I will consider you 2 to be the help action people, if that makes sense, and whichever way you want to do it then.
So perception, here we go.
So
11.
So I'm up with Madriana for the first watch, so am I giving her advantage or am I rolling myself?
Whichever you prefer.
Take advantage, Madriana.
Okay, so I'll roll again. 11.
11 it is.
Madriana, you seem distracted.
Something's puzzling me.
Go on.
Why would they be scared of something this far down?
Think they knew about the firecracker?
No.
I still don't know how it has fire underwater. Does magic fire work underwater?
I think that was just Slate panicking. It wasn't even a real approximation of fire. It was just like everywhere.
Okay, so non-fire kraken. Either way, that's something to be scared of, I guess.
I definitely don't think we should be taking the water back home.
No, probably got lucky that once.
Well, I'm not willing to try it. You can swim across if you like.
Do you know what? I think I won't.
But I thought you were a good swimmer.
I'm a good swimmer, but I'm not faster than a fucking kraken.
You said ass crack.
I knew there was a bit of child still left in you, Madriana. I like it.
Maybe somewhere.
Hey, you're taking the second watch as well, right?
I am indeed. So you can wake up whoever's next.
Yeah, could you try to make sure Lissa doesn't get woken again? Because she is angry when she gets woken in the middle of the night.
Dash, are you fucking talking again?
Oh my. She's such a light sleeper.
Maybe if you didn't talk so loud. Anyway, I'm meant to be watching out. Shut up and go and wake someone else up and go to sleep.
I love that it's thematically your roles were impacted by Dash non-stop talking to you for that entire time.
Yeah. Just like, shut up. I'm meant to be watching.
We can RP anything here.
Right?
I'll give Ayami a nudge.
Ayami nods and gets up, and she sits down next to Madriana. She doesn't necessarily say anything, but it's not in a like, oh, I don't know what to say thing. It's more a respectful taking of your space. Something you would pick up about her that I think would be interesting to you is that she rarely takes her hand off her hilt when she's walking, when she's moving. She's always ready to draw her sword, her blade. But here next to you, she has her blade readily available, but she isn't necessarily ready to just draw it on a whim. She probably could do it quicker than some of the people in the party, even like this, but she's not she's at ease next to you, would be my observation from Madriana.
Right, okay. So she's kind of like Katana from Suicide Squad.
Yeah, that would be a good way of looking at Ayami, actually, I suppose. But, like, not with the soul of her dead husband trapped in her blade.
Yeah, well, that we know of.
Not yet. Spoilers.
Yeah. There's an urge to talk to her. But then, one, knowing what she's like, and two, knowing their situation, and Madriana decides not to.
Okay.
I'm just going to stay watching.
As the second hour comes to a close, is someone taking over for the other 2 hours that would be post to Madriana? I'll give you guys all the information.
Yeah, before, right?
There's, the other 4 hours.
Yeah.
The other 2 watches I meant to say. You're right, sorry.
Yeah.
Hatsu's gonna do them.
Okay.
So I'll nudge Hatsu. And then I'm guessing Dash laid next to Lissa somewhere.
Yeah, but like Dash is laying there like the little spoon while Lissa's the big spoon around her. Around him, sorry.
I just
Nothing
wondered
wrong
how
with
much.
that.
Who
I'm just
doesn't
saying.
love being the small spoon?
I know,
I love being the small spoon.
There's no harm in that.
I love being a small spoon, but I've not found any bigger spoons than me.
I'm right here, buddy. I'm right here.
Oh, now that's a sexy treat.
The next Flying Orc retreat's gonna have HR all over the place. Yeah.
HR, is that what you're calling it now? Okay.
Happy rests, buddy. HR.
Or hairy rub. Anyway.
Oh my god.
Fucking hell. There's a moment in Madriana's mind because Dash had said about childish like pranks or like childish like behavior, where she kind of wants to grab his arm and just like elbow Lissa in the ribs, like, you know, like a nudge kind of thing, and then she's like, actually, I'm kind of tired, and she doesn't actually ever lay down. She just sits in a like cross-legged pose usually. So she'll find a place where she can rest her back and basically do that.
No worries. Hatsu.
Adriana sleep like my dad in an armchair.
I don't know. We would need context.
Maybe not as slumpy, possibly, but she sits upright. But yeah,
the Hatsu is taking the next 2 watches. So is anyone joining him on each of those hours?
I think it's Eos, right? Yeah.
So Eos, you'll join him for the first one. So your hand will go up first. Slate, you'll join him for the second one. With Eos and Hatsu, just before we do RP and stuff, with Eos and Hatsu, are you guys, one of you doing a straight roll with advantage, or each of you doing a perception check?
What do you reckon, Biz?
I think Hatsu would watch out for sure.
Okay. You can have your advantage then. Go ahead with your perception check with advantage.
Holy moly. 13.
No worries. Midranna, you would have had advantage too, so I would probably get you to do another roll with advantage, if that's okay, for the second part of your watch. And Slate and Hatsu, are you guys doing a watch each, or like are you doing perception check each, or are you doing just Hatsu gets the advantage?
One each.
One each. Okay, so Hatsu and Slate, you can roll. Midranna, for the second watch, you got 23. Hatsu, for the third, you got 13. And for the fourth...
And a 9.
Eleven.
Okay, so 11 for the fourth watch. Okay, you guys may carry on. Thank you so much.
Hatsu would definitely focus the way they came from the shore with the body of water. And he would investigate his jitter a little bit more. And he would kind of come to the conclusion that he only hears it kind of ringing if something with the intent of attacking him would approach. So he is still kind of curious about that creature, and he's thinking about it while he's kind of making a watch, but also looking out for potentially noises or whatever, because in his mind that thing would also live from something. So there must be occasionally things come into the cave that that creature could feast on. So he's also thinking about that the tunnels might be connected to the ocean, and that these old caves might be a result of a gigantic eruption of the volcano, just like an ancient artifact of lost pathways that nobody knows anymore.
Okay. As you admire your jitta, you see it's not necessarily ringing or giving you any sense of warning or concern, but you are, I was gonna say attuning to it, but that's a very different thing in D&D, so I'll say you're aligning with it. You are understanding the feeling of it, you're understanding the flow of it, and you're respecting the shape and the design, and realizing how much more important this is than just a weapon. It's something that can help you, that will help you, something that will help everybody. And placed in your hands, it's far more valuable than it would have been placed in potentially someone else's. You have the training, the understanding, the experience to take such an item and really give it the attention that it needs so that it can give you the attention that you need. The way it works means that because of what it does, this artifact, this, I don't know what to call it, something so personal to you, but this powerful item, it gives you almost a sense of calm that you've always had to give to yourself. You had to grant yourself safety. You never trusted your environment, your surroundings, unless you were probably at home, because you could trust the people there. But with this at your side, you actually get a better night's meditation than you used to. You're able to focus on the present without focusing too hard on the future. I would say that Eos would notice as you sit there with this beautiful weapon to her, but tool to you.
It's a magnificent weapon, I'd say.
Well, I think it's more something like the hourglass you have. It's not technically a weapon, it's more like a tool.
What does it do for you?
Well, it helps me to focus on things that might be harmful. You recognize how the others that set alarms, right? You quite did it yourself. You see, for this alarm, I don't need anything. It's more like a proximity with a bad intent. So this tool kind of feels the intent of persons or creatures. I mean, we all creatures, technically.
That's amazing. Did someone gift it to you? Did you have it forged by a blacksmith, or where did it come from?
Comes from my hometown, but Remington Sensei was generous enough to leave it in my hands.
Ah. It's very kind of him. The rapier I carry was given to me by soon-to-be stepfather. They haven't got married yet, but he used to, or still kind of works when he's not drawing his pension, for this great guard called the Vanguard. And he gave it to me before this great journey I was set on. Katsuo, I would like you to appraise this rapier.
He looks at it, and he takes it, and he's firmly inspecting it, feeling the balance, the art, how it was forged and stuff.
It's a very meticulously and well-crafted rapier. The design is unlike anything you've ever seen. It's very ornate in its design, more so than a weapon of practicality. It is a weapon of beauty, and it is equally as dangerous a weapon as it is equally beautiful in the design that was given to it and presented to it. It's a labor of love, and it's something you may have happened across before, because the Vanguard aren't something that you wouldn't be familiar with in some way. They are a naval unit, and those who have been there long enough would be given something like this.
Would the rapier have two sharp sides, no sharp sides? No, like the rapier has one or two sharp sides. What would it be?
It is a very beautiful and ornate rapier. The imagery is a little thicker than most rapiers would be, but the hilt is also as ornate as the rapier itself. It is... If you're not careful, it could hurt you as well. It is very sharp, both in the actual hilt and structure of the hilt, and as a weapon itself. It is clearly for someone who is an expert with a weapon like this. So it is designed for someone who is professionally trained, and it is something that EOS works hard to master, right?
Yep, every dawn.
Before he would hand it back, he would kinda... Because the way it's balanced and stuff, he would kind of feel like the balance point of it. And he would like spin it around on one hand, and then kind of give it with the hilt towards Eos. He would give it back and hold it to her.
Eos will bow, and
that is magnificent work. You know, your hilt is not only well made, it has also some features you might want to take a focus on. And he pulls out his jitte and he says, "Do you see the spikes on your hilt above the horizontal line where it should save your hand from incoming damage?"
Yes, I've nearly stabbed myself with it a few times.
Well, you see, these are made to work like this. And he pulls the jitte towards his sword. And with one spike off the side, he kind of makes pressure on the actual blade and has then like an attached point to move his sword. And he kind of shows her how to use that feature of her rapier to kind of get somebody stuck that might want to swing at her. He shows her how to kind of control the weapon of the opponent if she needs to do so.
Using the sort of prong on the jitte, you show how to engage and use this as almost defense, not just a shield. Like that, this would be a hand shield almost to protect you, but he shows you how to use it as a way to change the flow of battle.
You see a big emotional reaction of amazement in her eyes and sigh of relief. She knows better now how to handle the weapon.
And never forget, you will be always faster with this kind of weapon. So it's more like an in and out, more like a stabbing than an actual slash, if that makes sense.
Thank you, Atsu. If only we could all be as quick as you.
Oh, you are as
Phenomenal.
quick as me. You just don't know how yet.
So what do you think, Atsu? Do you think this creature was trapped here by volcanic activity, or there's no food? There's no food source.
I mean, there's water inside here. Was it salty?
A little bit.
Well, my theory is that these caves are connected to the ocean. And maybe that creature found a home here.
Oh, you're right. Still though, it's a water creature. How could it have burned all the people?
Maybe they have been burned earlier, when these caves were created, or shortly after. I mean, everything in nature comes in periods, right?
True.
So maybe there are times when these caves are in other condition as we visit them now.
That's a very good point. I haven't seen any lines on the walls of moss or evidence that the water rises or lowers.
I mean, as far as I know, there's a 0 water level to everything, right?
Yeah.
And there are times when the waters rise, and there's times where the waters sink because the water might be frozen or something.
Sure. This is true.
So that must be one of the deepest points here, I guess. Or at least a pocket.
For sure. I'd love to know what it looked like.
Yeah. I wonder if we could make more than 2 new friends in this cave.
Imagine what we could do with that. Be crazy.
Well, maybe we can teach him a song. Or it.
Yes, for now. True. Ace will go back into her state of just being.
As the time moves forward, Eos, you return to your space and meditate a little further, prepare yourself for the journey ahead. And Slate, you are awakened for the final leg of your watches. You would join Hatsu.
Were you able to calm down a little bit?
Further I get from that water, the easier it is.
So,
Anything strange?
not noticed. But I'm also not that familiar with this kind of environment, to be honest.
Seems late or early, depending on the way you want to look at it. I slept well. It's a good start. Made it this far.
That's the beauty of caves. You are always in the moment, because you forget about the time. The only downside is sometimes you get lost in these moments.
And eaten by a kraken.
Or eaten by a kraken.
I guess if you're going to look this way, I'm going to go over here. I'll holler if I see anything.
Hi.
As you both watch and you keep your senses about you, there are a few things to take in from here. Over the course of the night, a few things are noticed. Madriana, during your first watch with Dash, it becomes incredibly difficult to focus on anything. But on your second watch, you spend some time with Ayami, and it gives you a sense of serenity and balance to focus on what's to come. The tunnels that lay ahead aren't as shrouded in fog as the ones behind you. Likely meaning the fog was a source of the water, or sourced from the water, I should say. Making it easier to see and continue this journey deep into the mountains of Vulcanus and the Molten Crown itself. Also, the amount of bodies that you're encountering becomes less and less the further in that you go. Hatsu. On the first watch, you're a little preoccupied with Yujita and with Eos. And that gives you a difficult time paying attention. But it does give you time to reflect. And sometimes that can be as important for what's to come as paying attention to the path itself. But in the second watch, Slate and Hatsu, you stumble onto something alarming or concerning. I'll let you guys decide which. One of the charred bodies that is available to you here it is not quite like the others. Across the entire rib cage of this burnt body is what looks to be a large imprinted hand. Bigger than almost the torso itself. It gripped onto whatever this was. In previous incidents, there wasn't enough left of remnants of these things to figure out what happened. But in this case, it's pretty clear that something caused this rather than an event. But I'll give you guys a week to think about it before you give me any answers. And we'll continue the journey next week from there.
Eos runs ahead, running away from the voice in the sky. No! No!
And it fades to black for Eos, unfortunately, as the map has not rendered that far.
Out of bounds!
You hit one of those out-of-bound walls and you just can't get through it. You're just stuck.
Oh, man.
Curses.
Could be a curse. Huge thank you for all the gifted subs there. I saw some of our own team gifting subs. Kian and Roy, thank you so much. And I saw On Your End gifted another 5 subs, which is just crazy. Thank you so much. And a huge welcome to our 2 new mods. Due to an argument in chat between our friends. Thank you to Styx and On Your End as well. We will be taking a quick break for those of you on Twitch. And we will be back in a few minutes. I say we, I won't be there, but our companions here will. It'll be the post-show, Beyond the Isles. Those of you who are listening to the podcast or on YouTube, you can see that. It should be available at the same time as this. If you do have a question, please put !question in chat, and our team will do our best to answer it. And I think that is it. Unless anything else has to be said. Am I forgetting? There's a video. I didn't forget. I remembered. We have... Is it Hatsu this week? I think it's Hatsu's video, which is absolutely
I think
so sick. So we will do Hatsu's video and then go into a little break, and then we will be back we'll be back at 25 past. That's the easiest way to do it. Yeah, if you have any questions or anything, feel free to let us know. And one more time, Kian, I would say plug your Movember thing for me, just in case anyone missed it from the beginning.
Sure, thank you. Yes, I'm growing a mustache for Movember to raise funds and awareness for men's mental health. That's a short version. Longer version is written on my Movember post, which is in the link in chat now. So please, if you can, donate. We're almost at 500 quid. We're 6 days in, so we're on track to try and get to 2,500 euros. Thank you very much.
Crazy. Yeah, you're doing really well as well. So proud of you, Paul.
Thank you very much. I hate my face.
Oh no! It's fine, buddy. It's everyone jump in quickly at once.
Yeah, everyone jump in at once. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, we'll be back in a few minutes. But what we'll do first is let's jump into our video. How about it's time to meet Hatsu? Enjoy.
Born under the light of a crimson moon, Toshitsugu Hatsu entered the world of the Toshitsugu clan to become what he was later known for, the Whirling Shadow.
I don't think you're